Hello again, Tuesday night Pokemon fans. I am your host, John. It is Pokemon Day here at the Forge. We've got a special night for you guys. But first, I'm joined by my handsome co-host. Tell them who you are, Tom.
I am Tom, and we are here for Pokemon Day at the Forge, a big celebration on February 27th, when the original Pokemon games came out in Japan back in 1996, I think.
Yeah, I was a wee lad. Were you born yet? Were you born yet, Tom?
I was born in 1996, but not in February. So, anyway, we are very lucky tonight because we have both a Pokemon Day celebration where the Pokemon Company International has sent a bunch of cool goodies to the store for us to hand out to people playing in our league night that we would normally have on Tuesdays, but we are also graced with being able to have a league challenge tonight. So not only are cool prizes provided by the Pokemon Company International on the line for our players tonight, but also those sweet championship points for our players to work towards their invite to Worlds in Honolulu, Hawaii this year.
We've got a lot of players here tonight who are actually qualified or on the cusp of qualifying as well.
We have a pretty big competitive scene here in Minnesota, and a lot of our players are getting very close to that 600 number of championship points that they need for their Worlds invite. I think probably just a couple internationals or regionals away for some of these players, and they'll be right there.
The format tonight will be standard format. For those of you not in the know, that's going to be cards from 2021 and onward. We're close to rotation, which means some of the cards will be becoming illegal to play in the standard format in a month or two here. So this is one of the last chances players will have to play this format before the Temporal Forces cards come out. And then there's going to be a big change in the metagame of what cards are legal and what cards are necessarily good. Format tonight, again, standard format. We got some cool stuff, though. We said the Pokemon Company sent us some things to hand out. For the Seniors, Juniors, and Masters Division, whoever wins the event tonight gets these little Pikachu statues, which I don't believe you can buy and will never be sold.
Yeah, so these are
super cool.
Yeah, very cool. The Pokemon Company also sent some exclusive dice for this sort of event. That's like a Pikachu dice, which look really cool. There's some Elite Trainer boxes as well to hand out, and some different mini tins and pre-constructed decks for people to learn how to play the game. A lot of cool stuff here tonight at the Forge, and we have this kind of cool stuff a lot of the time, and it's an extra special event today, obviously, for Pokemon Day, but we have all this stuff and very cool prizing and fun things to do a lot of the time. So, you know, come hang out on Tuesday nights. Every Tuesday night at 6:30 is our normal league night. First Tuesday of the month is always our league challenge, but we got an extra league challenge.
We got a bonus
tonight, a bonus league challenge.
Bonus league challenge.
Another store was not able to run their league challenge this month, and so they allowed it to be run at the Forge so that players would still have the opportunity for those championship points.
Additional pricing too going forward. Tom and I will be hosting consistently for the next 8 weeks. We're trying to build this stream into something special here. In order to support that too, if you come down and you are chosen to play on stream, we will give you additional booster plaques as an incentive for playing. And then if you win on stream, you actually get a Series 4 prize pack, which is provided by the store, which is actually a great segue into the Forge here. We really appreciate their support and your support for watching us here on the stream. We've convinced the Forge to actually do a discount. They were very kind to allow us to offer a discount to our stream watchers. And you'll see that code's actually up on the screen right now. If you come into the store between now and next Monday, so before the next stream, and use the code Pokemon Stream Week 1, they will give you 10% off your entire purchase. Anything you buy, and you can use it as many times as you want. Talking to the store owner, Bert, he's really excited because if we can get more customers in the store using the discount code, but it is 10% that can't be combined with other offers. But if you want to buy $1 million worth of Pokemon cards, they will give you $100,000 off.
Yeah, and we will be running this stream through up to the point where Pokemon Temporal Forces comes out and can be sold in stores. So if you're looking for Temporal Forces singles, booster boxes, Elite Trainer boxes, build and battle kits for the pre-release events that we'll be running here at the Forge, I'm sure we'll have a discount code for those weeks as well. So keep an eye on the stream, watch it every week, and you'll be able to get that discount on your Temporal Forces orders as well as anything else in the store. It's a store-wide offer exclusively from this stream.
We have a couple more notes of promotional items that'll be coming up later between events, or between the people playing on stream. We'll be doing some winner interviews as well, and then maybe we can convince them to open their prize packs on stream if we're lucky.
Absolutely. Maybe we'll get some fire polls on the stream.
We're trying to hit everything tonight, entertain the people who have taken the time out of their day to watch us here on the stream, or are taking their time to watch this video on demand as well. So Very cool. So we'll take a brief break while we get the first games lined up. Stick around. You got time to get a snack. We will be right back, though, with the first game of the League Challenge. Welcome back, Pokemon fans. We're getting set up for our first match here. I'd like to give a special thank you for Andrew, who's actually around the corner behind the camera. You guys can't see him. He's doing a great job getting this set up for us. So, Andrew, thank you so much. If you want to make the screen shake or something to acknowledge, there we go. All right, Andrew, if you could, we'll head over to the first game. We've got Sam setting up here.
Every time he uses that Roaring Moon to take a knockout on these Oinkolones. And Sam is a Judge Path deck, which can sometimes be hard for these Roaring Moon decks. If Sam does get that turn 1 Path to Peak down, Roaring Moon won't be able to use things like Galarian Moltres and the Squawkabilly and Lumineon, things that they like to use to get set up. So will definitely be an interesting match here, and we will see what these players are able to do. It looks like we're getting set up and just waiting on the rest of the field out there to get set up and get the go-ahead from the judge to start round 1.
Yeah, so Tom, like our conversation earlier, really Sam's best bet here is to get the Path of the Peak out, which is going to prevent the Squawkabilly from kind of kicking in and allowing the Roaring Moon player to see 6 extra cards. I did see the Galarian Moltres and the Roaring Moon in the hand of Kevin, so it looks like he's got a pretty good start. If he finds a Battle VIP Pass, though, that's going to be even better for him. Starting with Galarian Moltres, though, it does have Dire Flame Wings, so he can grab some energy out of the discard pile. Question is, can he get that energy in the discard pile? That's where most of the work is done in this deck. He's got 2 Roaring Moons on his bench. See if we can find a Greninja. Pokestop early in the game can be tough, because if you get rid of stuff that you really need,
Like a
like
research and
or
another
the
Pokestop and another research.
I believe the deck only plays 2 researches.
Yeah, that is tough. That is definitely tough. We'll see what else Kevin has in the hand here. Has the attachment for turn onto the Roaring Moon, but it looks like it's just going to be a pass here. And Sam starting off with what in the active position? I can't quite tell.
Got a little bit of glare.
Might be a
Might be a little chunk.
Bidoof. It might be a special art Bidoof. Can't tell with that glare though.
We gotta get those no glare Dragon Shield sleeves, which by the way, for sale 10% off if you use the code Pokemon Stream Week 1. But yeah, this is actually an ideal start for Sam. She's able to use a supporter because it's her first turn, but she's going second. Right now, though, if I was Sam, I'd be looking at that Pokestop and seeing those 3 cards get discarded and be like, that could be me. I don't want that to be me, but that could be me. She does run a lot of Pokemon Search. She might be discarding her Rigid Bands, though, and some of the Double Turbo and V-Guard energy as well. So we'll see what she chooses to do here. I did see a boss in hand. Just chooses to use an Ultra Ball to get rid of that Sharon's Care, however. And Tom's going to go out there and just see if he can adjust some of the glare a little bit. As Sam's searching through her deck, doing her prize checking, is seeing that she's got a Lechonk, getting 2 of them down. The room that we're in is somewhat sound sealed as well, but you may hear some background banter at the same time, so appreciate you viewers sticking with us if sometimes you hear a silence and then some people outside chatting as well. Looks like she's got 2 Lechonks going down. Lechonk is going to be the base evolution for that Oinkolone EX.
And that Path to the Peak coming down from Sam, that is going to be her win condition in this matchup. Just disrupt Kevin so that he can't set up his game plan. And after a rough turn 1, a Path to the Peak and an Iono here, things might be looking rough for Kevin going forward. Now, we know that his hand was kind of dead, though, so that Iono could help him out, draw him into those cards he needs. Greninja, another Pokestop, Energy, Vessel, those sorts of things.
Sam is holding on to another Path to the Peak and both of her Oinkolone EXs as well, so she is positioned extremely well right now. See Trekking Shoes, look at a card, see if you want to keep it, and if not, look at another card. It looks like an energy transfer from the profile there. Oh, it was an Ultra Ball. Galarian Moltres' ability, Dire Flame Wings, you can attach a dark energy from your discard pile to it. Currently not in effect right now because of that Path to the Peak. Gonna Trekking Shoes one more time. Right now, Kevin is going to be looking for another Pokestop to bump that Let's see how this Pokestop goes. The last one was about as bad as it gets. Ideally, he would hit a dark energy and then 2 dark patches, or maybe a switch.
Pokemon Catcher as well. Looks like he head's going to bring up one of those Lechonks on Sam's side of the board.
Pokemon Catcher, you have to roll heads, and then you can bring up one of your opponent's Pokemon. So kind of like a 50-50 boss's orders. Pokestop, getting rid of the Mew, getting rid of Acetas, getting rid of Dark Energy. Not as bad as it could have been, but that Dark Energy in the discard pile will allow him to Dire Flame Wings. But the question is, can he get it transferred around?
And he needs a switching card to get out of the active spot, or an attach for turn plus an energy switch to attack with the Moltres. But we do see the energy switch coming down onto that Roaring Moon. And
for those not in the know, or
our third research. All right.
Seeing a lot of cards over here from Kevin. Dire Flame Wings, the ability that allows you to get energy onto the Glaring Moltres V. It does have a 3 energy attack cost, though, for 190 and does 30 damage to itself. So it is actually a good attacker in this matchup, but Roaring Moon is the main event. Roaring Moon has Calamity Storm, does 100, or does an additional 120 if you discard the stadium, so that Pokestop's really valuable to hit that 220. But at the same time, what is it? Frenzied Gouging.
Yeah.
Just knocks out your opponent's Pokemon. It's an effect, so you can't tank against effects unless you have a big Parasol, which rotated, or the upcoming Mist Energy, which is not out yet. So
Kevin here has been able to set up an attack on this turn, but did not find the switch card that he needed off that Professor's Research to get that Galarian Moltres V out of the active position to promote the Roaring Moon EX, and just passes over to Sam, who's going to evolve into that Oinkologne EX, evolve into another Oinkologne EX, and we'll see what else Sam is able to put together on this turn. A Judge plus another Path to the Peak would be very powerful here. Also setting up some damage on that Roaring Moon that has all of the energy on it would also be good. We do see that Path to the Peak coming down and a Judge. This is going to be Sam's strategy this whole game. And Kevin is down 3 Pokestops now for anyone counting, and he plays 4. So unless Sam discards a bunch of Path to the Peaks with Ultra Balls or something, she plays 4, and she is going to win the Stadium War in this game.
Prized one, maybe?
Yeah.
If Kevin gets a little bit lucky that way. But right now, Sam is looking for the energy attachment. Oinkolone's main attack, Heavy Stomp, does 210 damage for 3 colorless. Maddening Scent, though, does 30 more damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So right now, not doing a ton of damage, just because Kevin seems to be playing around a not very full bench. Path to the Peak, though, sticking around. See if you can get that energy just to put some damage on Glaring Moltres. We did talk about putting damage on the Roaring Moon EX. It does 200 damage to itself when it does Frenzied Gouging. So if you can do 30 damage to it, it will take 2 prize cards off the Oinkologne EX, but it will also give you 2 prize cards.
Yeah, so Sam playing that heavy ball there, getting the Manaphy out of the prize cards, which is important depending on what sort of Roaring Moon deck you're going up against. There are some Roaring Moon decks that play water energies and these energy switches to be able to utilize that Radiant Greninja's Moonlight Shuriken attack, which can do damage to 2 of your Pokemon if you don't have the Manaphy in play to guard your bench Pokemon. But Kevin is just playing Ross Coughlin's pretty standard Roaring Moon list at this point. No water energies in here. That Manaphy is not going to be needed.
For those not in the know, Ross Cawthorn is a very famous deck builder who I think solved how to play Roaring Moon and proved how good it can be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Ross, if you're watching, good job. Great job. I hope Ross is watching. I'm skeptical.
Yeah.
All right.
Someone send him the link.
All right, see ya, Palpad. Shuffling some supporters back into the deck. Even if we do manage to set up some damage on this Oinkologne EX, Sam does have access to several Sharon's Care, which is put a colorless Pokemon back into your hand. Which is pretty cool. So it's essentially, I'm sorry you did all that damage. I'm going to get rid of it right now. All right, we're going to see a little bit of damage.
Yeah, Sam using that Maddening Scent for 50 damage onto the Galarian Moltres. We do see a Forest Seal Stone coming down from Kevin, an Earthen Vessel going to be able to find him.
What are you looking for right now? A research? He's got rid of both of them.
Well, I don't know what what is he discarding with there?
It's the Earthen Vessel. He got rid of something.
He didn't.
That is his hand, actually.
What did he get?
I think Tom's going to go check to make sure he actually got rid of something. They're just outside the door here. Got 2 Dark Energy. Still holding the Forest Seal Stone on the Galarian Moltres. So that is actually Tom you hear making a judge call. He unfortunately forgot to discard something off of the Earthen Vessel. Should be a fairly easy correction, though, just because the hand has stayed relatively transparent and that Ultra Ball has not gone into a search yet. So it might be a minor penalty, nothing too severe. One of the nice things about the local TCG scene, we've got a great judge here. Ryan is also our organizer. Because they're outside versus the streams we've done previously, Ryan can just wander on over, make a quick correction that we can get this game back up and running. This is a competitive event right now, so the rules are not rigidly enforced, but they are enforced. Still a friendly crowd out there.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be too much of a penalty for Kevin. Obviously, he has the VIP pass in hand. You'd obviously want to discard that off of that earthen vessel, but you do still have to play the game cleanly. I don't imagine this is going to come to be any sort of penalty. It probably will just be a warning for Kevin here, and we'll continue playing, but those warnings can carry forward into the tournament later. If you do something like that again, that warning can turn into a prize penalty or something more if it's a more egregious penalty. So
For players that play this casually or just learning this game for the first time, when we talk about prize penalties, a lot of the penalties in the game are rigidly defined what they should be from the Pokemon Company. Because he didn't go into his deck and then poke around and didn't reorder a lot of things, and it was very easy to correct. Usually you just get a warning for that. It's like a wag of the finger, hey, don't do that again. Mm-hmm. But sometimes if things like that were to happen and the deck were to be shuffled and then searched again, that's unfortunately where the penalties can escalate into a 2-prize penalty or a 4-prize penalty. Or unfortunately for some of those things, if the game state cannot be recovered, you do automatically lose the game. So a lot of these master players playing very carefully, a little mistake like that, not that big of a deal. So
yeah, switch cart here from Kevin, going to be able to get that Roaring Moon EX in the active spot, also healing 30 damage off of that Galarian Moltres. And I assume we're going to just see a big Frenzied Gouging here to KO. No, choosing to go with the Calamity Storm to take out that Path to the Peak, doing 220 damage to the Oinkologne.
That was a smart move.
And I think that is the way to probably play this matchup for the Roaring Moon. You don't want to damage yourself when you know that they can't one-hit KO you anyway, so you might as well just use Calamity Storm over and over until you get the KOs. There will be situations once you're more set up, once you've taken a few prizes, where just taking the Frenzied Gouging to one-shot something that has energy on it is the way to go. But for right now, there's no reason to get that damage on himself.
All right, Sam got the barrel down. It's Industrious Incisors ability, which is that cool blue card at the top of the screen there, viewers.
And I think that Squovet is the other card. Yeah.
We're going to dump it, and then we're going to Nest Dash it.
I believe so.
So Nest Dash allows you to put your hand at the bottom of the deck, then draw 1, and then Bibarel, Industrious Incisors, allows you to draw up to 5 in your hand. So it's kind of like I get to see a card, and then I get rid of my cards, and then I see a card, and then I see 4 more cards. It's a great way to cycle through your deck without shuffling it. So very, very, very powerful abilities combined there. Kind of hard to set up sometimes, but did see a Sharon's Care picked up by Sam.
Yeah, and we haven't seen a supporter use this turn, so she could Sharon's Care that damage off of this Oinkologne, put it back up into her hand, and all cards attached, and kind of force Kevin into this game where if he wants to take the knockouts, he's going to have to use that Frenzied Gouging to KO him, or not KO himself, but to do damage to his Roaring Moons. Otherwise, the Calamity Storm risks Sam being able to recycle those Sharon's Cares over and over and over and just pick up these Oinkolognes.
So she's able to do 30 damage right now. That will mean that Roaring Moon, unless it has some sort of modifier from a tool, will knock itself out, taking this Oinkologne at the same time. So Sam playing this Sharon's Care well after the barrel, sweeping through the deck. Gonna Nest Ball, probably go get another Lechonk, or maybe start setting up another draw support.
Yeah, I think she might be eyeing up that double barrel, so getting in the Bidoof down here could be very good. But like you said, can never have too many Lechonks in play when your main attacker is those Oinkolognes.
I think that rare art is just Lechonk has eaten itself into a coma.
I think it might be.
All right, see another Bidoof going down on the bench. Sam flexing with her all rare art, or mostly rare art bench for that new Lechonk going down. Right now, Kevin's in a tough spot, though, because he's having a hard time developing the second Roaring Moon on his deck. He's cracked his Forest Seal Stone, and now I believe that Roaring Moon is in danger of damaging itself, unless he just drew an Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. Nope, there's Dark Patch.
Yeah, that's one thing to note is with such a limited bench size right now on Kevin's side of the board, that Maddening Scent from the Oinkologne EX isn't doing a lot of damage. And so, like you said, if Kevin is able to find that Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, which would give his Roaring Moon EX an extra 60 HP, he would be able to use the Frenzied Gouging attack without knocking himself out. But we see that Boss's Orders onto Sam's Bibarel, targeting down her draw engine, which is never a bad strategy. And we'll see if he's able to take the knockout. But there is no stadium in play, so he's forced to just do 100.
So right now the barrel does have a 3 retreat cost. We don't know how many switches does Sam play?
Two retreat costs on the barrel. There are no switches in her deck, but she does play 4 double turbo energy. She could attach one to the barrel and retreat it that way. She plays 3 jet energies as well. Could attach that to the Lechonk to get it back into the active. And she can also use Charon's Care on the barrel if she wants to, if she has another Charon's Care. So
Yoink.
lots of ways to get this barrel out of the active.
And if she were to Sharon's Care, she could just place that barrel down on the Bidoof.
Exactly. She could use the barrel, Sharon's Care, evolve it into the other Bidoof, and use it again.
That is a wicked sequence.
Yeah.
All right. Gonna see some draw to 5 in the hand. Did see a boss, a Dunsparce, not necessarily required in this.
Do you see double turbo energy? So she has the retreat out of that barrel if she needs it. I would probably at this point, attach that double turbo energy to the barrel at this point, and then I believe she had a judge in hand, play that judge. So if you find, I don't know, you don't want to judge and hope that you hit the switching out, and then you had it in your hand before you judged, and now you don't.
She has a double turbo for retreat. She could, I believe, boss up the other Roaring Moon and then place damage on it, so anything that he does causes damage to himself.
Yeah. You got to be careful, though, a little bit because of the switch carts in the Roaring Moon. If you don't set up enough damage, the switch carts could really mess you up. So I think just going with the Maddening Scent again onto this active Roaring Moon would be good. It takes away that Ancient Booster Energy capsule play that Kevin might have if she's able to get more damage onto this active Roaring Moon.
Riveting game. 6 prize cards to 6 prize cards. Which is interesting out of Roaring Moon. Usually Roaring Moon is I either win immediately or I lose in the long game. The deck usually runs 8 or 9 energy, so it can run out pretty fast of resources. Seeing those Professor's Researches discarded by Kevin off that initial Pokestop 2 makes it so tough. Just a tough time to see more cards because you don't play any draw supporters and you're really relying on your discard pile for that energy.
See a Pokemon catcher, and it looks like it's a heads. Gonna bring up the other Oinkalone EX that's on the bench.
Are we gonna see it go down? There is a stadium in play, so it could put 220 damage on it, leaving it with 40 health. Don't know what he just did. There's another 220 using Calamity Storm. Sam still has another Path to the Peak though.
Sam has another Path to the Peak, and she has a lot of Charon's Cares, and she plays a Pal Pad. So I think we have a good shot with that. The barrel plus Squelvet in play that Sam will be able to find a Charon's Care on this turn to get that damage healed off.
At the same time, too, her bench is full of Oinkalones that are also getting powered up. So a little bit intimidating the number of large pigs. See a Rigid Band, when you're down on prizes, you take 30 less damage? Is that what that is?
I believe so. I will check, though. I think it's a little different.
If only we had a device that it could tell us literally all of human information right in front of us.
Rigid Band, the Stage 1 Pokemon this card is attached to, takes 30 less damage from attacks.
Oh, Stage 1, okay.
Not super relevant in this matchup, but definitely relevant in others to make those Oinkalones a little bit tankier. We are seeing that Squovet. Nest Dash use, shuffle your hand, put it on the bottom of your deck, and draw 1 card. That allows you to unclog a clogged hand that you might not be able to draw cards with the barrel from. Now we see draw 4 from that barrel's Industrious Incisors, which allows you to draw until you have 5 cards in hand. And we'll see if Sam's able to at least find an energy to attack or a Charon's Care.
If she can find 1 more energy, I think she can take the KO on this, because it is 3 colorless on this Roaring Moon to do 210.
And there's the Charon's Care and a Path to the Peak coming down, healing off that damage, putting another Path to the Peak in play, and promoting that Oinkalone from the bench that has the Rigid Band and the energy attached to it. And I think we're seeing just another Maddening Scent here for another 50, so 150 damage on this Roaring Moon. I think she has a double turbo energy attached to that. Otherwise, maybe a little bit more damage.
Kevin playing around that if he fills up his bench, his Pokemon take more damage. And his Roaring Moons very quickly move into the range of, I'm going to knock myself out when I knock you out. Looks like he's thinking about a Morpeko and a Galarian Moltres V. We're not quite sure what to do with them.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to decide whether or not to bench them. But his hand is just dead. It's just those 2 Pokemon, it looks like. He's counting the stadiums. He's counting the Charon's Care, it looks like, in Sam's deck. He knows, I believe this is her last Path to the Peak, but I don't think that really matters at this point. It's all about the Charon's Cares. And, the number of stadiums in play actually does matter because once the stadiums in your opponent's deck and your stadiums are gone, you can't really Calamity Storm anymore.
It's just
for
frenzy
220.
gouging at that point.
Yeah, so the stadium count actually does matter a little bit. And I think Kevin's getting to the point where he might have to just take prizes, whether or not he's giving up this Roaring Moon. And it looks like that is what he's choosing to do.
He agrees with you.
Frenzy gouging onto that Oinkologne EX, taking 2 prizes, but KOing himself in return. So Sam is also allowed to take 2 prizes. And then Kevin chooses to promote that Galarian Moltres. So what I would love to see from Sam here is a boss's orders on that bench Roaring Moon to hit it with a Maddening Scent. A Maddening Scent at this point would only do 40 as long if she has a Jet or V-Guard energy attached to Double Turbo Energy. Would take that down to 20 damage. But it's just good to set up some damage on those Roaring Moons for those situations like we just saw there, where once they choose to use that Frenzied Gouging, they're going to knock themselves out in return.
Yeah, right now at this point in the game, Kevin ideally would have a board full of Roaring Moons, more Picos, a Mew EX for extra draw support, but he got rid of a lot of them. He does have a lot of energy in the discard pile, which can be used for Galarian Moltres, Dire Flame Wings if he can get rid of the Path of the Peak. But right now he can't drag that energy out of the discard pile because the Path of the Peak is preventing him from doing that. So we might just see an attach pass or just trying to dig a little bit more for another Pokemon on his bench. But even if he pokes another Pokemon on his bench, it's going to make sure that Sam is doing more damage with those little pokes from the big.
I believe Sam just trying to decide what to do with her hand here. Obviously, she has the Squovet to put that hand onto the bottom of the deck and draw more cards with the barrel if the hand isn't very good. But she might be trying to find a way to get that other barrel out, depending on if it's prized or not. She'd love to get double barrel going. But it looks like just an attachment of Double Turbo Energy to the active Oinkologne EX and attacking for 20 damage into this Galarian Moltres V.
Let's see, the prizes that have been taken by both players were from a Roaring Moon. Very exciting.
It looks like we are seeing a judge here. I don't know what Kevin drew off those prizes, but it had to have been better than whatever was already in his hand with just those 2 Pokemon that he didn't want to bench. And we will see what both players are able to get off of this judge.
Judge a card where you take your hand, shuffle it into your deck, give the deck a couple shuffles, usually a polite cut offered to your opponent midway through there, and then you draw 4. So Judge Path, kind of the lethal combo.
Not a very good hand there, it looks like, for Sam, but she does have the Squovet and Barrel still available to her to draw some more cards.
So you can go get another hand. I did see...
We're seeing that in S-Dash. 1, it's another Double Turbo Energy. The Barrel for 4, another Rigid Band, Nest Ball, Sharon's Care. That's going to be a big piece of the puzzle for the following turns. I did not quite see what Kevin pulled off that judge, though.
I did see an energy Earthen Vessel, so he has the ability to go get energy. He can get rid of some resources from his hand if he needs to use them. But right now, that Path of the Peak is really preventing that Dire Flame Wings from doing anything. He can attach from hand, but he can't use that Dire Flame Wings ability.
Kevin is also pretty much out of draw supporters in his deck. All his researches are gone. His Iono is gone. I believe he might have 1 Sawdust Vitality left in deck.
He has not played a single one this entire game. He's been dodging them.
Yeah,
that is a bummer.
So he's gonna have to get pretty lucky here. He's got Dark Patches obviously to power up attackers, but with that Path to the Peak in play, the Galarian Moltres cannot use its Dire Flame Wings ability to bring dark energies from the discard pile and attach it to itself once per turn. Nor can he use the Radiant Greninja even if he found it to draw more cards with that Concealed Cards ability. So Kevin in a tough spot against what would normally be probably an okay matchup for this Roaring Moon deck. Those Judge Path combos can hit pretty hard sometimes.
And sometimes all you need to win a game is your opponent to have not a great first turn and you to have a pretty good first turn.
We see that Dark Patch come down for Kevin, attaching a Dark Energy from the discard pile to that bench Roaring Moon. And I didn't see the rest of the hand, but it looks like it might just be a pass. He has an energy to attach for turn.
If he has an energy transfer, he could get that onto the active and then retreat, and it looks like he doesn't have that.
So pass, and breathing new life into Sam's turn. Again, every turn where she's not getting Frenzied Gouging is a good turn for Sam.
Yep.
We see that Nest Dash coming down, putting hand on the bottom of the deck, drawing 1 card, draws into that Ultra Ball, the Barrel for another 4, V-Guard Energy, Boss's Orders, Jet Energy, and Ultra Ball. So she does have a pretty good hand to Ultra Ball there. If the other Barrel is in the deck, would be good to get that Bidoof evolved up. And she does have the extra energy attachment to use that second attack on the Oinkologne EX.
Sam agrees with you. She attaches the V-Guard energy to the active. There is a case that could be made to boss up the Roaring Moon, put a bunch of damage on it.
In that heavy stomp, doing 190 damage, and with the damage already set up on that Galarian Moltres V, it will go down. Sam going to 2 prize cards remaining, but she has to know that this Oinkologne is going down to a Frenzied Gouging this turn, but then in return...
What else is there? Unfortunately, Kevin needs to get something on his bench right now. I believe he's discarded 1 Roaring Moon.
You know, the funny thing is, if he doesn't bench anything, Sam can't knock him out. She can't use Maddening Scent.
That is a high-risk proposal because Sam does have another Oinkologne on the bench. So if he does Frenzy Gouging, it'll put him down to 30 health remaining. And then Sam is going to have to power something up. So kind of an interesting predicament that Sam finds herself in here now with a full bench, and Kevin playing around Oikologne's first colorless attack that does about 30 damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So currently with the double turbo, she's only doing 10 damage. We're going to see 220 coming down on that Oinkologne. Looks like the stadium will be discarded based on the gesture from the Calamity Storm on the Roaring Moon. Again, 100 damage base, and then if you discard a stadium, does an additional 120 for 220 total. So let's see what Sam answers back with right now. She has to get that Oinkologne out of the active somehow. She has a Sharon's Care in hand. That is a way to scoop it up and then put the energy on the next one. Not going to have enough energy, it looks like, on her benched Oinkologne EXs to hit for that 190 damage, but that would ensure that the Roaring Moon is not going to be taking the KO with Calamity Storm, or excuse me, Frenzy Gouging.
Yeah. So the question is, did Sam roll Tails on the disarming?
I believe so.
Okay, so this Oinkologne can't attack this turn. She's got to find a Sharon's Care, and then what I actually think she has to do is hide behind Bidoof or Squovet. She doesn't want to give up one of these Oinkolones, and she needs to have 3 energies, a double turbo and another energy on one of these Oinkolones to use that attack for 210 damage again on this Roaring Moon. That stands her out. She can't rely on that Maddening Scent attack now because its damage is based around how many bench Pokemon Kevin has. Kevin's not going to bench anything. He's trying to play around that attack. So Sam needs to find a way to save herself or to save her energy and get them to power up these Oinkolones for that second attack.
I do believe she has a Jet Energy in hand, so she's able to get something up. And then if Kevin takes KO on that, then the Oinkologne is coming up to do some more damage.
If she has the Jet Energy in hand, she can Jet Energy Squovet, retreat out of it, and hit for 210 on that Roaring Moon.
She has a double turbo attached, so wouldn't it be 190?
190, yeah.
Come on, Tom. I'm not good at this. You're good at this. I'm just giving you a hard time.
But it looks like Sam is attaching a double turbo to that benched Oinkologne.
Here's a boss.
I think she's got to be digging for the Sharon's Care here.
Got a Judge, a Manaphy. Boss's order is useless because it doesn't work if your opponent has only 1 Pokemon out. Rigid Band going onto the Oinkologne, so taking 30 less damage because Oinkologne is a Stage 1 Pokemon. Let's see what Sam chooses to do right now. This is an interesting strategy because Kevin has 1 Pokemon and Sam can't one-shot it.
Yeah, this is a tough situation for both players. With no stadiums in play, Kevin basically has to either choose to damage himself or only do 100 in damage. I believe we are out of stadiums. Maybe Kevin has 1 more left in deck. We'll see what he's able to draw into here. And it's VIP Pass is the top deck. That's not necessarily what he's looking for. And it looks like it might be just another Calamity Storm for 100, or choose to Frenzied Gouging and do 200 damage to yourself, which would probably not be a good option with that Oinkologne getting ready to attack on the bench. And we just see another Calamity Storm for 100. But, is
that enough for the KO?
It looks like it's enough this time. Oh, there was a stadium in play the first time, so she had 200 damage on her.
The Rigid Band's going to reduce it by 30. Just clarifying there. All right, we're going to see Oinkologne go up. Are we going to go into a tiebreaker game?
I think we might go into a tiebreaker game here. So Sam is going to do 190 damage to that Roaring Moon. And then to take the final 2 prizes, that Roaring Moon is going to have to damage itself and knock both of them out, which would take us into a sudden death game, essentially.
Tom, for those not aware, what is the sudden death game of Pokemon?
So it's been called many different things. I don't know if sudden death is the exact right term of what they call it now, but essentially, if both players take their last prizes at the same time, you go into a sudden death game where you both set up for a whole new game, and you put out 6 prizes as normal, and then it is the first player to take a prize would be the winner.
That is Roaring Moon written all over it, because a turn 2 Roaring Moon
Yeah.
to take out anything is usually to the benefit of them. We'll see how it goes, though. We do have to have Kevin commit to that Calamity Storm, and then Sam respond with an attack as well. Sam could whiff the attack.
She does need another energy to use that attack to do 190 damage. Looking through her deck, she does have energy. So
One double turbo, maybe? And then she was pointing out that Sharon's Care is like, I need to get this thing out of here.
yeah, I think maybe, like you said, Sam did have a jet energy, I think, in hand on her last turn. When she wasn't able to attack with that Oinkologne, she could have reset that by using jet energy to bring up Squilvet, retreat out of it, and then hit that moon for 190. And I think that would have put her maybe in a better position than she is now. Right now, it looks like if she does hit energy, we're going into a sudden death game pretty much no matter what. Like
We've
you
never
said.
seen one on stream.
We've never seen one on stream, but like you said, it is very favored for Roaring Moon.
Roaring Moon usually with Squawkabilly can set up on its first turn if it goes second. Unless the Path of the Peak gets put in play the first turn, we could see this whole game over again.
Yeah.
The tiebreaker is first person to draw a prize card. So it's the first person to knock anything out is the winner of the tiebreaker. Let's see what Sam chooses to do here. I think we're going to see Squilvet and Babarrel.
Still haven't seen that second barrel come down from Sam. It must be one of those last 2 prize
I
cards.
didn't notice that. Good call. I see an Iono reset the hand here, which actually benefits Sam a little bit because that Babarrel will allow her to drop up to 5. I think she's trying to find. There's the Sharon's Care for
I
next
think she's
turn.
used the barrel already.
Oh, she has.
And it's just,
Just cause.
well, let's see. Maybe she just forgot to remove the markers. She is attacking for 10 damage, I think.
This would mean that it will survive. So the
Yeah.
Frenzied Gouging will do 200 damage to it, which will knock out the Oinkologne. The strategy of Kevin
Yeah.
keeping nothing on his bench actually paid off.
Yeah, that was well played by Kevin to see that win condition there, not play anything onto his bench. And
Wow.
yeah,
That was awesome.
That was very cool.
I
Well
thought
played
we were
by
gonna see a
Kevin.
tiebreaker.
Well played by both players. Honestly, that's got to be just a horrible matchup for the Oinkologne deck, and Sam played it very well, bringing it down to a very close game where if she had been able to hit that energy she needed on that last turn, it would have at least taken it to a sudden death game. But I think
Roaring
we can.
Moon really loves sudden
Yeah.
death. Roaring Moon creates most of the sudden decks currently in the meta. So we will be right back with a brief winner interview with Kevin. He does get a pack. And if you want to come play on stream next week, you are more than welcome to. You do get an extra booster pack for playing on stream, is incentivizing us to let us comment on you playing. And then if you do win on stream, you do get a series prize pack as well. But yeah, we will be right back with a winner's interview with Kevin. Thanks to everyone for watching. Tom, thanks for hanging out with me.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Be right back.
Cheers.
You do it. I'll just bring him. Just
Andrew, we're just going to do this real quick. Oh, can you give this to Sam? Congratulations, your no Pokemon on the bench strategy paid off. All right, so normally how this works is I ask you 2 really easy questions.
Okay.
You have to put on the headset. These are directional mics. You'll hear yourself.
Yeah.
So if you don't like that, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, cool. Usually I'll start off by saying congratulations. I ask you a quick question. The first question is going to be about after that Pokestop, and you saw you discarded 2 Professor's Researches and something else that was important. How are you feeling? The question after that is going to be, if you talk as long as you like, try to keep it under a minute, honestly. because we're running out of time. The second question is going to be, going into the later part of the game, we saw you not putting any Pokemon on the bench. We're assuming that was deliberate. Take it from there. So
Yeah.
cool. Andrew, I'm ready when you are. I do a little lead in too. Nice job.
Thanks.
Frost's list is really fun. So.
Yeah.
Are you ready, Andrew? Cool. Welcome back, Tuesday Night Pokemon fans. I am John here with the winner, Kevin. Kevin, that was awesome. It was a match favored for you, but early on we saw you hit the Pokestop, and then you had some resources that you really wanted to disappear. What were you looking to do after you saw those researches go into the discard pile?
Try to work with the energies that I had, and then just try to get that Moltres out of the active, and try to just hopefully top deck something good.
Right.
It was a struggle bus for the longest time.
I don't think
honestly.
you got a single Satas the entire game.
No. I think I only played two supporters, a professor's research and a boss's orders.
Nice. All right, so talking about later in the game, you were seeing how that Oinkologne deck was, the more you put on your bench,
Yeah.
the worse it got for you. So you switched strategies,
Yep.
which was brilliant and ended up winning you the game. Explain that to us.
Yeah, I just knew that if I put down the Morpeko that I was holding for the longest time, or when I eventually got the Greninja, that would have added math, and that probably would have made it really, really awkward once if she kept on just putting that damage down, so it would have been 70 instead of 50. So I just was like, well, I don't really have anything resources-wise to load up anything else, so why give her more damage and just hope for the best.
It worked out surprisingly well, too. That last game came down with you with 20 health left, having frenzied gouging your opponent, and you taking all your prize cards.
Well, and to give her credit, all she needed was double turbo, and then it would have went to sudden death, which would have been
It did.
a lot of fun.
So we were actually Roaring Moon creates most of the sudden deaths in this format. So we were excited for you. We had to explain to the viewers too how sudden death or tiebreaker works. Well, congratulations on your win. We'll have a serious prize pack for you. Thank you for hanging out with us and playing. Good luck in the rest of your matches.
Thank you.
All right, guys, stick around. We will be right back with the next match. Good job, man.
Thanks.
You got your pack?
Got this back here, yeah.
You gotta rip it right now, dude. You don't have to. You can do whatever you want. You can sell it back, whatever.
Let's see.
I do the packs for the people, so. Come on, SIR. Oh, you got something.
I got a rare of some sort.
There you go.
Ooh, I'll take that.
All right.
Nice.
Your reward is an Iron Moth.
Thank you.
And then you'll get a Series 4 prize pack real quick. I'm gonna go. I'll get that for you, actually.
All right, thank you.
No worries. Thank you for playing on our stream. And good luck winning the Pikachu statue.
I swear, I thought I was getting the water. That was so
careful.
It's not good for anyone else.
I know, but it's... You're at that table right there.
Just please don't put your pen out.
Has this been sinking? Is this like slow?
Is there any chance of it rotating? No, you're good.
All right. Andrew, can you start on us in like a minute or two, and then we'll go into the game? Anything in particular you want to? Oh, they can hear us during the break. Hey, Andrew, they can hear us right now. Hello, everyone. Okay.
Back to Pokemon Day here at the Forge. Tuesday night, we have a league challenge here tonight. Headed into round 2 here, we have a seniors matchup. And yeah, John, do you want to tell us a little bit about the decks?
Yeah, so the decks we're going to be seeing right now, it's going to be Kyurem VMAX versus Charizard. Before we jump into it a little bit, I want to do a quick promo for the store.
Absolutely.
The store, this Friday, starting at 6 p.m., they got a new Star Wars Unlimited pre-release coming out. If you can see that, if you like Star Wars, you are going to absolutely love this game. I have too many hobbies. Tom, you might be able to pick it up. They're doing pre-release this Friday at 6 p.m. You come get a new deck before they're out the week after that, learn how to play the game. Robert is really excited about it, who owns the store.
Yeah.
Some of the players were playing it earlier here on some decks they'd cracked a little bit too early, but it sounds like they're going to have a good time with the pre-release this Friday at 6 p.m. Also, don't forget at the bottom of the stream here, we've got the discount code Pokemon Stream Week 1. If you come into the store, they'll give you 10% off any of your purchases as long as you use that. Please use that code. It does help us a lot continuing to do this here at the store. So back to Pokemon, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. So what decks do we have here for our seniors round here in round 2?
All right, so we got Levi, who is going to be with the Alolan Vulpix sleeves, playing Kyurem VMAX, one of my all-time favorite decks. It's just a dice roll over and over again with that Glaciated World. And then Parker is going to be playing a bit of an older version of the Charizard deck that we saw early when the deck came out. I think it's Arceus with, what is the Delphox?
Yeah,
Does the bench
Arceus
sniping?
and Delphox V with the bench sniping attack as well. Yeah.
So the Kyurem VMAX deck is funny how it works. Once it gets set up, it is an impossible to stop Juggernaut. It pretty much has unlimited damage. I think he plays 29 or 30 water energy in the deck. Does have Radiant Greninja too for sniping things off the bench. Unbelievably susceptible to Path of the Peak though.
Yep.
The deck just stops working.
Yep,
He does have a
true.
couple outs.
Thankfully, he's playing against Charizard, who also doesn't like to see Path to the Peak.
Cool.
So, no. Imagine. But we can head over to the table now and take a look at what.
We've switched here. So on the right side of the screen is going to be the Charizard with Arceus, and on the left side of the screen we are going to see the Kyurem VMAX deck. A very simple deck, Kyurem VMAX, which is just fun. Also rotating out soon. I know you're not the biggest fan of the VMAXs, Tom.
I'm happy to see the VMAXs go. Absolutely. Never bring back the 3 prizers. That's what I said.
Speaking on that note too, or on that note, it looks like Mega Pokemon might be making a comeback. That was teased on Pokemon Day today.
Yeah,
Which would probably be a 3-prize Pokemon again.
No, they were 2-prize Pokemon when Megas were around initially.
Really?
So, yeah.
All right, fair enough. All right, gonna see Arceus promoted into the active from Parker here. If you can find a double turbo and attach it, that would be ideal. Arceus really in this deck just for its, is it Starbirth?
Yeah, that Starbirth ability allowing you to search your deck for any 2 cards. Great way to set up your board as you get into the game. And was kind of the premier way that Charizard was played upon its release, using that Starbirth ability to go find the rare candy Charizard EX. And then it took a couple weeks, and people sort of figured out the Arven, Rotom, Pidgeot engine to build the Charizard around, and then it sort of morphed into that. And now, going into this next format, we might see Charizard change again. The Japanese players are really liking playing it with the barrel currently, and so we might see another evolution for this Charizard deck. But over to Levi's side of the board, got some energy going on to that Kyurem.
The attack does allow you to attack as much water energy from your hand as you want. Going turn 2, we do see 3 Kyurem Vs established on Levi's side, and he has at least 2 Kyurem V Maxes in his hand as well. So he's well set up to take a KO on that Arceus next turn. But headed over, we see a Pidgeot EX go down with a rare candy from Parker. That quick search, is that what it is? Quick search ability, go find any card.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him search out a way to find Arceus V-Star if he doesn't have it already. Or just really what he's looking for is a way to get Charizard EX out. The funny thing is, Charizard EX, Charizard, a card, obviously normally a fire-type Pokemon, wouldn't normally love to see itself going up against a water-type deck, but this Charizard EX obviously is that Terra Charizard EX that is actually the Dark-type, not the Fire-type, so we're not going to be seeing any weakness hit this game from those water Pokemon.
And Parker does not play the Radiant Charizard as well, so there's no big 250 swing here. The price trade is going to be a little bit interesting for Levi because the Kyurem VMAX can one-hit KO a Charizard, but the Kyurem VMAX gives up 3 prizes. So Parker really just needs to take 2 big KOs here on those VMAXs to really win this game, whereas Levi needs to take 3 KOs on those 2-prize Pokemon. So
I was looking through Parker's list here. It looks like no choice belt. That would be a really interesting way. Obviously, he could power up the Arceus V-Star with the Charizard EX's Infernal Rain ability and then use a choice belt to hit for 230 on this Kyurem V. But no choice belt in Parker's deck, so we are just going to see probably attack from that Charizard EX doing 180 on this Kyurem V.
it would be really cool if someone teched for Kyurem VMAX. Which would actually just be a metal deck. So that'd be Origin Form Dialga would stomp this deck. Yeah, you just boom, boom, 2 turns. All right. Gonna see Iono.
Iono from Parker there. Drew into a lot of energy in that hand. I think he was probably looking for a way to find the Arceus V-Star, though, and he did find an Ultra Ball. So going to be able to Ultra Ball away, I believe, a Canceling Cologne and a Fire Energy to find that Arceus V-Star. Use that V-Star power Starbirth to search his deck for any 2 cards, and I believe that Parker will be looking here for a switch or an escape rope to get this Arceus out of the active spot and start attacking with that Charizard.
The Iono as well, really tough for Levi just because he did have those Kyurem VMAXs in hand and now they are at the bottom of the deck. No fret though, he could have stumbled into another Adventurous Discovery, which does allow him to go get 3 more V-type Pokemon.
Or the other nightmare for Levi is he drew into 6 water energy.
Which is extremely possible with that deck of 30 water energy.
But he could attach them all with Kyurem V's attack.
You could. I don't think this Kyurem V is surviving though. I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
it hasn't drawn any prizes yet.
Yeah, he hasn't taken any prizes yet. So Parker's deck really relies on your opponent to start taking prizes to ramp up the damage output of that Charizard EX. And with no prizes taken yet, only going to be doing 180 damage here with that Arceus V-Star's Trinity Nova attack. Now Parker can search his deck for 3 basic energies and attach them to his V Pokemon in any way he likes. We did see that Delphox V come down. It looks like 3 fire energy going onto that Delphox. Delphox is an interesting attacker. It can loss zone 2 energy from itself, and then it will do 120 to your opponent's active Pokemon and then to one of their bench Pokemon as well. We're seeing an attachment for turn from Levi here, and
There's
that
the
Adventurer's Discovery.
Gonna get those Kyurems from the bottom of the deck. He knew exactly where they were. So Kyurem VMAX has an interesting ability. It is Glaciated World. You flip over the top card of your deck, and if it's a water energy, you can attach it to your water Pokemon. With a deck that plays 30 water energy, and you've thinned it a little bit using some search cards like these Adventures Discoveries. Yeah, it's just unlimited damage. It's pretty funny.
So the Max Frost attack on the Kyurem VMAX does 120 damage, plus 50 more damage for each water energy you discard from your Pokemon, or from this Pokemon. So with 3 energy attached, it can do 270. If you can get a 4th energy, which it looks like he did off that Glaciated World, another energy onto another Kyurem
Glaciated
VMAX,
World,
and
baby.
4 energy gonna be discarded to knock out that Arceus V-Star. But the thing is here, as he starts to take prizes, he's just powering up Parker's Charizard EX, and Parker's gonna be able to take a knockout for 3 prizes on that Kyurem VMAX this turn.
All right. See Parker promoting the Charizard, the Delphox waiting in the wings. He could potentially boss up another. Oh, opting for an Iono. It would be an option though for him to boss one up, take it out, and then use that Delphox to snipe onto the bench for the final KO of the game. Defiance Band would up the damage a little bit.
Yeah, Parker needs to find another Charmander. I think he would love to get 2 Charizard EXs into play, but he also has that Delphox already powered up, so if he can survive a turn with this Charizard EX and hit into another Kyurem, that Delphox can finish it off for the last 3 prizes that Parker would need.
So I do think this Kyurem VMAX is going down, so that will mean 2 energy attachments with successful Glaciated Worlds next turn, and then 1 per turn. That's going to be 150 plus. That's 270. That is not enough to take out this Charizard. So this Charizard will be likely surviving this turn.
We see Parker playing that, I believe it was Artisan. Artisan can search your deck for a basic non-rule box Pokemon, put it onto your bench. So Parker grabbing that Charmander off of that Artisan to get another Charmander into play, hoping to evolve it into a Charizard EX next turn.
All right. Right now, Parker doing what he does best. Actually, a very skilled senior level player, developing his board. Sometimes you'll see younger players just immediately go into the attack or immediately play the cards, but obviously being very considerate. Taking out the 3 prizes, though, from that Kyurem VMAX. I think that should be enough with the damage setup from the Arceus V-Star before. See what Levi top decks, probably water energy. Establishing his board, though, very smart.
Another Kyurem V. He's got 2 Glaciated Worlds to use, but that's not going to be quite enough. He would need to. He does hit off both, but 4 energy isn't enough to one-shot this Charizard EX. He would need 5 to do that. And
So it was attached for turn, and then 2 Glaciated Worlds that were success. Okay.
yeah,
So that's 200. He's going to be 10 short.
he's going to be 10 short. 320 damage coming down onto this 330 HP Charizard EX, but
Opting to
Levi
keep some in play.
choosing to keep some of that energy in play. Going to discard 2, however, so I believe 220 damage coming down onto this Charizard EX.
So Parker right now in a good position because he'll be able to place damage on this Kyurem VMAX and then clean it up with Delphox depending on where it goes. So right now Levi's deck also does not play a lot of control. It's about hitting those Glaciated Worlds.
Yeah,
So
it looks like Levi does not have any way of blocking bench damage. He doesn't play the Manaphy, but he does play 2 Cheryl in his deck. So
I forgot about Cheryl.
yeah, so he does play the 2 Cheryl. So whatever damage comes down from the Charizard EX this turn could be wiped out by Cheryl. But I think one of the things that Parker should be looking for this turn is to play an Iono. Hand Disruption against a bricky deck like Kyurem can be very strong, and to Iono them to 4 would be tough for them to draw into those 2 Cheryls that they play in the deck.
Parker opting to play Colress's Experiment too, just to see more cards. An interesting choice. I think an excellent move by Levi, not discarding all that energy because he wouldn't have been able to hit those high numbers afterwards. So sometimes you just got to tank a hit and see what happens. Top deck the Sharon's Care. Come on, Levi.
Although if he was planning to play Cheryl next turn, it's smart to
Cheryl,
just
excuse me.
get rid of all the energy anyway, because the Cheryl's going to discard them for you. So keeping those 2 energy on isn't going to matter if he does end up having to play the Cheryl. We see Lost Vacuum coming down, probably getting rid of that Defiance Band that Parker had attached to that Delphox V. another water energy coming down here from hand, and we see an Iridas.
Okay.
So no Cheryl here. So Parker should just have the game locked up on the next turn with that Delphox V. But we'll see if Levi's able to do anything else here.
I'm trying to think of what he could go in looking for. Could grab a Forest Seal Stone, but he's already used his supporter, so we couldn't heal all that damage. Looks like he's going to escape rope. Could put up the Greninja just to sacrifice the single prizer Pokemon, and then when that goes down, take a big swing again, or maybe Cheryl next turn with that.
Yeah. Looks like an escape rope. Parker's sending up the Pidgeot EX, and Levi, I hope he's read the Terra ability because he might be looking to use that Radiant Greninja on this turn. One water energy, where does he choose to attach it?
That's a great question. I actually don't know with his board state. Opting to power up a VMAX just in case.
But Parker should just have game here from retreating out of that Pidgeot EX into the Delphox.
Yep.
Yeah. Rare Candy, Charizard to bring more energy into play in case he needed it. I think he already had 3 on the Delphox V, but I could be wrong.
It does look like Parker
Unless
right
we're
now.
doing our math wrong, 240. Yeah, no, our math is right. So the Delphox should be able to take the KO on that benched Kyurem VMAX.
240 on it. It's got 330, so 90 left. Yes, 30 to spare. Tom, our resident math expert here when it comes to Pokemon. I usually just like to make the dice spin. Tom actually places them in the correct order.
So Parker has free retreat on that Pidgeot EX, but he's choosing to
Go up with the Charizard, okay?
The Charizard. He could just find a boss's orders though to take the KO.
There
and
it is.
There it is, and that should be game. So congratulations to Parker here for winning with that Charizard Arceus deck. We'll cut back to John and I here to sort of summarize that round. You know, Kyurem VMAX, John, obviously it's a deck that's close to your heart.
Yeah.
I've seen you and Jack play it multiple times
It's
here.
just fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always fun to accelerate a ton of energy into play. And that Kyurem VMAX is certainly able to do that very well. So we will be back here soon with a winner's interview with Parker. Don't go anywhere.
Well, let's see if we can convince him to open his pack on stream too.
Sounds good.
Cheers. I am here with our round 2 winner, Parker. Congratulations.
Thank
You're
you.
an excellent Charizard pilot. Talking about those sitting down across from someone that plays a deck, you don't see that often. You see those Kyurem Vs go down. What were you looking to do with that? What were we looking to establish?
I wasn't really sure, honestly. Like, it's definitely not a deck that I see very often, so it was definitely a new experience. So
Yeah. So you take the initial knockout on the Kyurem VMAX, you get your 3 prizes. Your board is pretty well established. At that point, what are you looking to do? Send up a Charizard, maybe use Arceus to find some more stuff. What are you looking to do at that point?
So once I knocked out the first Kyurem, I made sure to get a Charmander and then at least have a Rare Candy or Charizard EX out
Okay.
in my hand. So then, in case he knocked out my first one, I would have a backup. And I'm glad I was able to get those energies back in my deck because those 3 I've attached to Delphox were actually my last 3 in my deck.
We were thinking here in the studio that I hope that he doesn't run out of energy for that Charizard, but you played really intelligently. So that last Kyurem VMAX had some damage on it, and then at that point, what were you searching for? The boss's orders, or what were you thinking at that point?
Just getting the boss's orders prepared because I didn't want, on the last turn, I was scared something was going to happen, so I just wanted it in advance.
Perfect. Well, congratulations on your win. Is there anybody that you'd like to say hi to while you got us here on the stream?
My family and mostly my dad too because he's also here.
Your dad's Mark, right?
Yeah.
Mark is great. He brings you to Pokemon every week.
Yes.
Mark,
yes.
thanks for bringing Parker out. We will be right back with some chat between Tom and I about the future of the meta. Parker, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Good luck in the last round. Are you 2-0 right now?
Yes.
If you go 3-0, Parker, I think you might be bringing home one of those Pikachu statues. Best of luck. All right, we'll be right back. You got time to get a snack. Stick around.
Thank you.
Nice job. And welcome back to Pokemon Night here at the Forge. Bert, or the owner, reminded me to remind you all that this Sunday, March 3rd at 1 p.m., they're having a standard Magic the Gathering tournament here at the Forge. He also wanted me to push a little bit of product. It sounds like Wizards sent them way too much Murders at Karlov Manor product. He trusted me with it, which means they have way too much. I can't tell you how much of a discount they're doing right now because apparently it's below minimum advertised price, which I didn't just say on stream. Unfortunately, it can't be combined with the stream discount, but they are doing absolutely massive deals on Murder at Karlov Manor, both the collectors and the booster sets. So if you are a Magic fan and you've been looking to get these, they have way too many of them. It sounds like Wizards just messed up their order, or they just got way too many of them. So they're doing huge deals. I can't actually say what they are. Yeah. Also, standard tournament this Sunday at 3 p.m. here at the store. If you're a Magic and a Pokemon player, I'm glad you have so many hobbies. Come on down and check it out. Tom, we were going to talk about meta predictions. I'm all in on Chien-Pao. What do you want?
Yeah, I really like Chien-Pao. I think Charizard remains kind of like that #1 deck in the meta. And Chien-Pao has historically been very good into Charizard. I am really having a lot of fun playing post-rotation Goldango EX right now as well. I think that deck is a lot of fun and quite strong. I think the theme of this format is sort of any deck that can pair Prime Catcher and Canson Clone and use Radiant Greninja is going to be very good. Chien-Pao does that, Goldango does that, and maybe some crazy Lost Zone decks will try to do that. I don't know.
Somebody's going to figure it out.
And then, but if you want to focus in on one, Chien-Pao looks very good going into this meta. Strangely, it did not do very well at the Champions League event that Japan held in this format, or at least it didn't get into the top 16 decks.
We saw some weird decks, though, at the top.
There were some weird decks.
Chinchilla,
Yeah.
powered by
Yeah.
a legendary bird.
Yeah, I think the format can just be weird in Japan a little bit for multiple different reasons. One, Chien-Pao has definitely a tough time against Snorlax. We saw Snorlax. I think there were 3 of them in the top 16 in Japan. If Chien-Pao hit one of those, that's just a tough time for Chien-Pao. And then, they play best of 1 over there. So if you have a rough start and just lose, then you just kind of like are on the back foot for the rest of the tournament. So the Chien-Pao players might have just had bad variance with that best of 1. But I do think Chien-Pao is very strong going into this format. One of the things that's a little scary for it is Charizard might have a little bit better matchup into it now with that Maximum Belt A-Spec, which allows Charizard, if they go first and Chien-Pao starts Chien-Pao, normally Charizard can't take a KO on the Chien-Pao
Be a little
EX.
bit short, turn that 180 up.
Yeah, but with that Maximum Belt doing plus 52 EXs, they can take the first 2 prizes, and then kind of it's a 2-prize trading game from that point on, and if Charizard is able to take the first 2 prizes, they win that trade.
We're getting a signal from the organizer right here. We have to take a momentary break. I have to go talk to Ryan. So you have another chance to get a snack. We will be right back.
Be right back. See you soon. All right, welcome back. We had a repair here tonight at the Forge, so we had to find a different stream match here, but we will get that going shortly. John here is digging through the deck list, trying to find
There
our
it
players'
is.
deck list, but we have Michael Holmblad versus Cody Graham, both two very good local players here. Cody playing a fun deck tonight, as I believe he's already maxed out on his challenges, so just trying to have some fun tonight, playing the Bennett EX item lock deck.
So this is Wrath of COD versus Late Night Mike, is what this is?
That is. In
That's
the
Discord
Minnesota
group.
Pokemon TCG Discord, those are their usernames. So
I think Mike exclusively posts on Discord between the hours of like 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. So Late Night
that's true.
Mike.
That's true. And he also exclusively plays Charizard EX and has been doing very well with it. Won a cup with it.
Oh, he
this
did,
weekend.
yes.
So Michael on a tear with the Charizard locally as well as at regionals and ICs. Hopefully, we're all trying to convince him to fully commit to that Worlds run because he's like right on the cusp.
Well, he is meeting something he probably wasn't expecting.
Yeah, the Bennett EX item lock. Obviously, Charizard EX likes to play rare candies.
He really likes playing them, yes.
Yeah, but they do play the Charmeleon. It is a one of Charmeleon, so he's hoping he doesn't prize it. But the Charmeleon just evolve into Charmeleon, evolve into Charizard, and then the Bennett EX is weak to Dark-type Pokemon. So
This is going to be a great matchup.
yeah.
Because if that lock goes in on turn 2, Bennett EX is a stage 1. You're going to see a slow, methodical game from two players that know these decks back to front and are also extremely skilled. We're getting the signal from Andrew. He wants to know if we can go to the
I
transition.
think we should go to
You
the
can
game.
go-
Actually, Cody starting
what did I do?
that Mew EX in the active spot with free retreat, and then Cody with, I believe, a double VIP pass, finding Ralts, Shuppet. Pretty good start for Cody. Maybe he just had those in hand because it looks like it was just one VIP pass.
Wow. That is actually a great start. Shuppet is the basic that evolves into the Bennett EX. And it's Michael starting with a Rotom, so he's going to see some extra cards.
We see an Iono at least in hand from Michael there, but he's desperately hoping to find multiple VIP passes this turn, and also going to be checking if that Charmeleon is prized. But we see an Iono there from Michael. None of the other cards in that hand playable, just playing the Iono. Both players shuffle their hand to the bottom of their deck and draw 6 cards. I see that Bennett EX in Cody's hand already. That means we are going to see that item lock come down on turn 2. I see a Battle VIP pass, though, for
And
Michael,
a
as well
Charmander.
as a Charmander in hand. That Battle VIP pass, I have to imagine, is going to go find a Pidgey and maybe another Charmander, and also search that deck for that Charmeleon.
Point out that Late Night Michael Holmblad, does not play the intermediate stage for evolving into the Pidgeot EX, does not play the Pidgeotto. So he is going to be unable to get his Pidgeot EX evolved and have that quick search ability for the entire game if Cody has his way.
Yeah.
Cody's main attacker here is going to be the Bennett EX. Everlasting Darkness does 30 damage, and the effect is actually on your opponent. The opponent can't play any item cards from their hand.
Yeah.
So it's just, there's no super rods, there's no recovery. If you knock out that Charmeleon and that lock stays in play, you're not getting it back with the two or three super rods that Michael plays. Not evolving. It's going to be a slow, methodical game of Michael very carefully kind of watching his resources so that he can start taking these KOs on this Bennett EXs. You had mentioned Bennett is weak to dark, so there's no question the Charizard's taking the knockout. The question is, can you get there?
Yeah. The other thing, too, is Bennett does have a second attack. That Poltergeist attack does 60 times the amount of trainer cards in your opponent's hand. So you item lock them throughout the game, and if they ever do give that Charizard EX out, they're under item lock. So ideally, they have a bunch of trainer cards in their hand, and then you can go in with a big Poltergeist and take a one-hit knockout on that Charizard EX.
Let's not forget, too, there's also genome hacking. We could just attack right back.
Yeah, and Cody is playing that Gardevoir EX, so he can power up that Mew EX whenever he likes during the game. And like you said, when Charizard goes down to one prize card remaining, that Mew can copy that Burning Darkness attack and do 330, taking the one-shot knockout.
I think we saw Bennett EX have some success in the EU League with a Shadow Rider Calyrex V setup. Is there like an interesting control?
Yeah.
did fairly well.
I think it did pretty well in one tournament. We haven't seen too much from it, but it is getting renewed hype as we go into the post-rotation format. There's a few cards coming out that help Bennett. There's a Stadium that poisons your opponent and makes them take or a stadium that makes your opponent take more damage from poison. So you can poison them, have Radiant Sneasler out, as well as that stadium. Then they're taking 50 per turn from poison, plus the 30 from the item lock attack on Banette. So you're building up more damage as you're item locking. And there's also the Saguaro. Saguaro? I don't think it's Saguaro. Is it? I can't remember the name of the supporter, but essentially you can search your deck for a Pokemon without an ability that evolves from one of your bench Pokemon and evolve it on turn 1. So you can do the turn 1 item lock with Banette now in the rotation format.
That's not okay.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with that. All right, Cody getting his draw engine online using those Kirlia's refinement. Gonna do. Oh, that was a clean research high five. There we
discarded
go.
nothing, drawing 7 cards. And you'll notice too, Cody does play the other Banette from Lost Origin, which says it just sits on your bench, and whenever you want, you can Lost Zone that Banette and take a supporter back from your discard pile.
Oh, so like a VS Seeker with more consequences.
Yeah. And you'll also notice that Cody does play the one of Dreepy, which is a way to lock an opponent's Pokemon in the active spot.
Should we check Cody's deck, make sure there's just 60 cards in there? This is looking like a 65 card deck.
Yeah, there's a lot happening in this deck. And here's the other thing. Michael only plays 1 switch card, and
He's not. I don't think he's playing that.
it's the escape rope. And if Michael ever gets rid of that escape rope, he can't play it because it's item locked. But if he did, Cody could just trap that Rotom V active for the rest of the game with that Dreepy.
We were talking about seeing a Snorlax game earlier. This might be a slightly different version of slow, methodical play, maybe a little bit more action. Item lock is fun, though, if you're playing it. It's a bit of a pain in the butt.
Well, I think it's also cool because there are things that Michael can do. He's not just totally locked out of the game. Because he does play that Charmeleon, he does have the Radiant Charizard. There's attackers that he has in the deck that he can power up even through that item lock. And so Cody's going to be trying to disrupt Michael's strategy of doing that while Michael's trying to find a way around this item lock to get a Charizard EX, because as soon as he does get a Charizard EX, I think Michael can run away with this game with only 1 Charizard out.
Cody's board very well developed. You're going to see that Gardevoir EX go into the hand.
Looks like
And
deciding on that
Alakazam.
Radiant Alakazam actually over the Gardevoir EX. Radiant Alakazam obviously can move the damage around from that Banette as you are locking things in the active spot. So let's say Cody did end up locking that Rotom V in the active spot with Dreepy or something. He can move the damage around.
He's going to do 30 damage and then move that 30 damage with Painful
Yeah.
Spoons, which is the ability on that Radiant Alakazam, to the bench. So that 19 turns.
Yeah, so we see that Banette EX using that Everlasting Darkness attack, doing 30 damage to Michael's Rotom V, and Michael cannot play any item cards from his hand on this turn, which one of the things we keep talking about is Michael wants to find that Charmeleon to evolve naturally up through the stage 1 into the stage 2 now that he can't play his rare candies. But Michael can't even use Ultra Ball to go find that Charmeleon now.
God, that's just a lock. He does
But
find
he
the
can
Forest
find
Seal
the Forest
Stone
Seal Stone.
to
Yep.
find the Charmeleon, and Charmeleon, he does have the Charizard EX in hand. So probably not this turn, but this turn we'll see him evolve into a Charmeleon, and then the following turn we will see it evolution into a Charizard EX. I don't see Cody paying any path to the peak, so he's not going to lock out the energy acceleration from the Charizard EX. But yeah, I think you're right. If Michael can get the Charizard EX in the active and just start swinging,
Yep.
that's going to be a little bit more challenging for Cody to deal with.
We see Michael using that V-Star power right away, going to grab that Charmeleon, evolving one of the Charmanders on his bench into that Charmeleon, and now all Michael has to do is find a Charizard EX. I'm not sure if he had one in hand, but he's going to be able to use this Rotom's ability to draw 3 to end his turn, that instant charge ability, draws 3, ends your turn, hoping to find a way into that Charizard EX for the next turn. Cody doesn't really have a way to take a one-hit KO on that Charmeleon, so Michael has a couple of turns to find that Charizard EX. And we see that instant charge Luminion,
And there it
I
is.
think he did get the Charizard EX there, so Cody's going to have to do something here. He is in danger of one-shot knockouts coming from that Charizard EX as soon as Michael gets it into play.
See a refinement Curlia going into the hand for Cody off that level ball. Level ball is supposed to rotate, but currently still legal. Find a Pokemon with 90 HP or less. He did discard the Spiritomb, so we're not going to see the Luminion get locked out or the Rotom V's ability get locked out. Spiritomb is the ability, I believe, on Spiritomb's ability, locks out basic Pokemon V abilities, which is originally a Mew counter, but now is like a Charizard counter.
Yeah,
So,
yep. So we see Cody just continuing to set up his board here. Probably doesn't really want to evolve into the Gardevoir EX because it's also weak to Dark and gives up 2 prizes. But that Calamitous Wasteland coming down means that Michael's Rotom V is going to need an additional energy to retreat, I believe.
And so now
But-
he's going to need to take 2 from that Charizard that would normally go to the Charizard and put one of them up there to retreat it.
Yeah, but I think he still should be okay.
The attachment for a turn.
Yeah.
And then with using that? Okay.
Well, the Infernal Rain accelerates 3 energy.
Is he going to have enough, though, to get the Charizard powered up and get it out of the active?
I think so, because it's just a 2 retreat cost now, right? Or does Calamitous Wasteland make it 2 extra retreat?
It makes it 1 extra.
Yeah, so he should be all right, because he already attached for turn
Oh, he
last
did,
turn.
okay.
Yeah, he attached for turn last turn in the Rotom. And then with this Infernal Rain, searching his deck for 3 Fire Energy and attaching them to his Pokemon in any way he likes. One of those Fire Energy going to the Rotom V and the other 2 going to this Charizard EX. Can retreat out of that Rotom V now into the Charizard and take the first 2 prizes of the game on Cody's Banette EX.
Tough, though, for Michael here. He does only play 6 Fire Energy. He's put 2 in the discard pile, and if the item lock continues, he can't use the Super Rod to get them back.
Yeah.
So he doesn't necessarily need them right now, but if he needs to go find another Charizard, if the item lock were to be broken for some reason, like the Banettes are all knocked out, could be tough for Michael running out of resources, unable to play that Super Rod at some points in the game because of the item lock. But right now in a good position. Did take 2 prize cards. Cody's
Well-
still sitting at 6.
Yeah, one of the things here is Cody could use that Poltergeist attack to take out the Charizard, but instead he's just going to be counter catching.
They can't see my face when I do that, but that was a tough counter catcher.
So this Rotom V is locked in the active until Michael can manually attach to it to retreat it through that Calamitous Wasteland.
Yes.
Because Michael can't evolve into another Charizard EX now because of the item lock. And let's see here.
As soon as 6 Fire Energy.
Well, and the thing is, as soon as he attaches energy to it, Cody could gust up one of those Pidgeys and like make him attach another energy to it. Like Cody has a lot of ways around Michael getting back into that Charizard EX now.
That is almost a board lock state too. If you
Yeah.
keep that item lock in play with all of the energy in play and it still can't retreat and you can't play the switch card you got,
Yeah.
what do you do?
Well, the thing is, as soon as if he ever relents on the item lock too, and Michael's forced to use that escape rope, Cody can just come right back in with that Dreepy and lock that Rotom active for the rest of the game. So, this is a really interesting matchup because as soon as Michael gets a Charizard, he's able to take these one-shots on these Banette EX, take the first 2 prizes, and get really aggressive. But Cody, with those counter catchers and the draw engine on board of those Curlias, can make it really hard for Michael to play around that. But finding the
Bounce
stadium bump,
Stadium.
that Calamitous Wasteland, can retreat out of that Rotom V into the Charizard. But now I think Michael, obviously he has Super Rods, but can't play them. And he has 3 energy in deck. He only has 1 more energy left to attach retreat with, and
Can't use the
can't
Super
play
Rod.
the Super Rod. Can't play the Super Rod because of item lock. And if he prized his 6th Fire Energy, that could also be very tough as well.
All right, gonna see a big swing into the Banette with the Charizard. Looks like Cody already has another Shuppet on deck. Can he find the Banette EX and get it charged up for the Everlasting Darkness next turn? Michael now not in the worst position. If he can take this out, and then Cody can, he can kind of snowball from there. See what he chooses to do. And we were forgetting to mention that Cody is just placing 30 damage on the Charizard each turn. Michael taking the 2 prizes from the Banette EX knockout. I should say also Cody has an incredibly powerful draw engine with those 2 Curlias as well.
Yeah, Cody going in with that Mew EX. I wonder if we could be seeing an Iono to 2 here on Michael. And Mew EX can take the KO on this Charizard because of the damage already on it. So Cody could take Iono Michael to a low hand size and say, you're not going to be able to do anything with that hand. You've already used your Force Seal Stone, all that. And then use the Mew EX to take a KO on the Charizard EX. I think that might be Cody's only route, but Cody is a very wise man, so he may be able to find a different route than I'm seeing. But I think the route here is Iono, Michael low, and then take the knockout on his only Charizard,
Right, he
and
does
then
have-
go back into the item lock.
If he can find the Gardevoir EX, there is the 3 energy in the discard pile that he could use to power up the genome hacking of the Mew.
If Cody
So-
knocks... Sorry.
No, go.
No, I was going to say, if Cody knocks out this Charizard with the only Charmeleon in deck attached to it, with paired with an Iono and then goes back into item lock, the game is over because Michael can't Super Rod Energy back, he can't Super Rod Charmeleon back, he can't play Rare Candies, and Cody just wins from there.
Well, the game is not 100% over. Cody could make a fatal flaw that is a game loss penalty, but
There's
for Cody,
always
that's
that.
pretty
There's always
unlikely.
that. Yeah.
Never concede because you never know when your opponent's going to make a horrible mistake. Probably searching for that Gardevoir EX right now. If we can use the genome hacking to take out the Charizard, would be absolutely fantastic.
Cody was eyeing up that boss's orders, so maybe thinking of trying to stick that Rotom active again. And we will see that Rotom V come back into the active spot with the with that counter catcher, and then Cody moving some of the damage off, and I believe re-item locking Michael's side of the board with that Banette EX.
Sorry for going silent there. My son needed his jacket real quick. Thanks, Tom, for the help on that one. All right, this is actually a fascinating game because Michael, a very skilled player, at the same time figuring out his options. Those counter catches have been particularly devastating, though, especially with the item lock, not being able to use a Super Rod. What are the sleeves that Cody's playing with?
I think they're Japanese sleeves. They have some Pokemon on them. It looks like a Quagsire, some other things, you know.
Just cool stuff.
Cool stuff.
Cool Pokemon stuff. Does have the Gardevoir EX and the Iono in hand, so I think the plan that you were mentioning previously coming to fruition. Got to be careful with that Banette EX, making sure that the Charizard does not come back into the active with a Gardevoir EX or a Banette EX. Actually, he can one-hit KO anything to take the win if the Charizard comes back into the active. Mew also weak to Dark. So on paper, not a great matchup due to the weakness, but item lock, man.
Item lock can do crazy things, and you pair it with things like Calamitous Wasteland, so your opponent can't retreat out of Pokemon that they can't attack with. Things like that get pretty tough.
Cody, ever the organized player, he always sets his discard pile.
He always does. Yep. You got to know, part of the game is knowing what resources you have access to left in your deck, and you only know that by knowing what's in your discard pile and your prizes.
Just a quick rundown of the Pokemon on the bench for Cody. You've got Radiant Alakazam, that has Painful Spoons. That's his Radiant Pokemon for the deck, allows him to move damage around 2 damage counters. The 2 Curlios have Refinement, which is discard 1, then draw 2. The Mew EX has Genome Hacking as its attack, and then it has Restart. You can draw up to 3 cards in your hand. Not useful right now because it's got a big hand. So a lot of utility on the bench there, a lot of draw support. See a counter catcher, so if this Rotom finds its way back to the bench, it could be brought back up. Use Artisan, I'm assuming to go get another Shuppet as a backup. Take a peek at the deck at the same time.
Yeah, and we'll see what Cody's able to piece together for the rest of this game. I think he's in a lot of danger because all that Michael really needs to find is an energy to retreat that Rotom out of the active position. But we know that Michael only has 1 left in deck, and now that Calamitous Wasteland coming down, Michael should have another stadium. He does have 1 collapsed stadium in the deck.
He just got it. He just drew it.
He just drew it? All right, so he does have a way out of that Calamitous Wasteland, but the question is, does he have the fire energy?
All right, let's see. That is not the fire energy that he needed. I think we might see an instant charge this turn from Michael, hoping to find that fire energy. And there's the instant charge. He
No
misses
fire
it.
energy. All right, so another turn of item lock on Cody's side of the board. Cody just slowly, methodically trying to piece this win condition together while he's down 6-2 currently on the prize race. But again, he's just moving damage around with that Painful Spoons, putting more damage into play with that Banette EX, keeping his opponent under item lock, and hoping that his opponent whiffs this Stadium plus energy combo that he needs to get that Rotom out of the active position.
So is Cody thinking that if he takes out this Charizard and breaks the item lock, then Michael will have everything he needs to piece together another Charizard coming up immediately for the win?
I think so. I think he doesn't want to risk Ionoing essentially Michael into like some crazy hand where he has Research, Candy, Pidgeot, and when he breaks the item lock, he's just going crazy. Cody preparing that fist bump.
Finds the energy.
Michael has the Collapse Stadium energy, retreat into the Charizard EX to knock out this Banette EX, and that will be game.
What a cool game.
Yeah, so I think on that turn where Cody boss, I didn't quite get a good view of his hand, but I think that the play there had to be Mew EX, Iono, KO the Charizard EX, and hope that Michael doesn't
Just
piece
couldn't
together
piece
the next
together
play.
the-
And then when you go into item lock again on your next turn, then the game is over from there. But couldn't quite piece that turn together. Maybe he didn't have all the pieces that he needed. We couldn't quite see his hand. Well played by both players, though.
Yeah.
Michael, you know, sometimes you can misplay when your opponent is putting you into these weird situations that you don't face item lock against anything
do
in the
not.
current format, right? And so sometimes you can get ahead of yourself and not be thinking clearly when you're faced with these tough situations and these different strategies that your opponents are attacking you with. But Michael stayed composed, played to his outs, and both players played very well. But congratulations to Michael.
Yeah, funny you mention that because I was talking to Michael this last weekend at a couple. He was talking about Charizard, and we're saying, Michael, you only play 6 energy. What's going on with that? He's just, you can do it. It
Yeah.
frees up space in your deck for something else that you need. You just got to be very careful with your resources.
Yep.
And Michael proving that he's very careful with his
Yeah.
resources. So living what he's saying.
Yeah.
We will be right back with a winner interview. A quick reminder, don't forget to use the Pokemon Stream Week 1 discount code. It actually really helps Tom and I to keep
Yep.
the stream going. Tom, you want to handle the interview with this one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, stick around. We'll be right back.
All right. Welcome back to the Forge League Challenge Night here on Pokemon Day. We are here with our winners interview with Michael Holmblad on that Charizard EX deck. As always, Michael, congratulations on that round 3 win.
Thank you, thank you.
Tell us what was going through your head. Definitely, item lock is not something you come up against normally in this meta.
So I got the turn 1, gained the setup, and being able to VIP pass and stuff, and get all my stuff on bench was sick. I then was like, oh, how the heck am I going to get Charizard out? And if I get Charizard out, then the game gets a lot significantly easier because my Charizard 1 hits everything from any point in the game. And so the strategy was, as soon as I play Arven, and I can grab tools to break the item lock, and so I just force Seal Stone to get Charmeleon and then just evolve up gradually, because eventually get there, because he's going to lock me and he's never going to break it.
Yeah.
And so my only path there is to just like evolve up, hope he can't KO my Charmeleon during the one turn I have Charmeleon down.
Yeah.
And I can only go for the Charmeleon turn if I have a Zardy in my hand to follow up, because
Yep.
if I go for Charmeleon too soon, then he gets enough time to KO it. And so thankfully, I had Charizard
Yeah.
EX in my hand on that opening, and I could just
Yeah.
Charmeleon, Charizard, and then
We were talking about, it's like, this is the one game where you can't have that Charmeleon prized.
Yeah.
Like, if the Charmeleon's prized, it's probably over. But you didn't, and you got there. One of the things that I was worried about on that, I think it was the second to last turn for Cody, is he
Yep.
promoted the Mew EX, and I think he could have taken a knockout on the Charizard EX by copying its attack and
Yes.
Ionoing you to 2. And we both thought, if he Ionos you to 2 and you get nothing, and he knocks out your Charizard with the Charmeleon under it, and then you get nothing and he reestablishes item lock, it's game from there. But it seemed like he just didn't have the cards to do that on that turn, or was he scared of breaking the item lock, do you think?
So I instantly asked him about it after the game, because I was like, okay, why didn't you do it? Because he definitely had UEX
Yeah.
knockout. He said he had it. He said he didn't want to go for it because if he goes for that knockout on my Charizard, and then if he owns me a 2, if I eventually just draw into it, because he's going to start punching me forever again, because he can't KO anything with the Mew EX,
Yeah.
because the only attack that does stuff is Brain Darkness. I was so far ahead. And so he said he didn't want to break the lock until he could just win the game off of breaking the lock. And I understand that route.
I think on Iono to 2 is pretty safe.
Yeah. He said hindsight, he probably
Yeah.
should have did that. But I understand the play of not breaking the lock just because it secures the game plan of going forward, and the odds of me being able to do stuff off of that Iono to 2 when he Ioned me to 2 anyway is just like so tiny.
What did you what did you get off the Iono?
I got a so I got the stadium bump I needed after I
Yep.
played on Clem's Wasteland, and then I top decked a research, and I was
Okay,
like,
so you would have had research off the Iono to 2 plus the Mew EX KO. So you might have gotten there anyway. So maybe it was good that he didn't break that item lock, but it ultimately didn't matter. You found the stadium bump, you found the energy you needed. So well played by you. Well, you got a prize pack for playing on stream.
Yes.
Do you want to open it right now?
I will totally open it right here
do
for
it.
the
Let's see
stream.
what you
Heck
can pull. These are the prize pack series 4, obviously highly coveted, very cool cards that can come out of here, and we'll see what you're able to pull. I'm a big fan of the Ionos, which we
Busted.
see right there. Wow.
Wait,
Okay.
here we go.
You can kind of show the camera a little bit. Yeah, you might want to hold it up a little higher.
There we
yeah,
go.
there you go.
So we like this.
Iono, Arezu.
I have no idea what that card does. Sky Seal Stone.
Sky Seal
Busted.
Stone. Hollow Energy.
Hollow
The Hollow
Energy.
Energies are very cool. Regidrago
Regidrago V-Star, let's
There
go.
you go.
And Fire Energy.
Fire Energy. You can now play
And
with
then-
League stamped Fire Energy
Let's
in your Charizard deck.
Go. I just need 5 more, and then I'm set.
Well, very cool. Well, we will leave the interview there, but we want to just give another shout out to The Forge. Obviously, thank you for letting us stream here. The Forge is running a Star Wars Unlimited pre-release this Friday starting at 6 p.m. It's a new Star Wars trading card game. If you love Star Wars, you're going to have an absolute blast learning to play it. So come out this Friday at 6 p.m. to play this new Star Wars TCG. So thank you to The Forge. Don't forget to use the discount code Pokemon Stream Week 1 for 10% off all your in-store purchases this week at The Forge. And we will see you all back here again soon for round 4.
Welcome back, Pokemon fans. Sorry, I just took a bite of my Snickers. So we are in round 4. The juniors and the seniors have all finished up. 2 of the Pokemon trophies have been handed out. Right now we're watching John, who is playing Sablezard. It's a Radiant Charizard with 2 Sableyes in the Lost Box combo, against Luis, who is playing Arceus V-Star with the Regigigas V-Star. I saw that 2 kind of come to the forefront about 2 or 3 regionals ago.
Yeah, I think Makani Tran sort of popularized it in his group, playing that Arceus with the Regigigas V-Star, just a big tanky, normal type Pokemon that can be scooped up with Charon's Care as soon as it tanks a hit.
It is colorless.
So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, this is going to be kind of a tough matchup, I think, for the Sablezard player, because you need to crank out a lot of damage, and then they can use the Charon's Care to get rid of that damage, while at the same time playing Judge, Iono, Path to the Peak, all the things that sort of disrupt a Lost Box player's ability to play the game. So
I think the real winner of this game is that V-Star marker.
moving down to the table here, did our table move?
I think they might have bumped something. Tom's going to go out there and do what Tom does best, is give a minor course correction to get everything centered. See the Sablezard player starting with a mulligan. It's going to be John on the right with the purple sleeves. And then we're going to see, Luis on the left playing the Arceus V-Star. Right now, Arceus' main goal is get an Arceus with a double turbo or an energy attached to it. Everyone brace for a minor shifting. Wrong direction, Tom. Other direction, Tom. Other direction. Let's give us the table got bumped while we were all hanging out in between games here, so thank you for your patience, viewers. There we go. See a little bit. It needs to go a little bit towards Luis. All right, can you just drag the mat a little bit towards Luis? Everyone who's watching, thanks for putting up with us. Needs to go a little bit towards Luis, away from John. Just the mat gets dragged. Those are the elegant hands of Tom. Perfect. Look at that. Great job, Tom. Tom working the technical side of the audio technical. I can see a thank you coming up in the search results from Angie. Appreciate that. All right, seeing a Bidoof, the draw supporter for the Arceus V-Star deck, coming down. Looks like there's going to be a Comfey in the active for John. Highest glare sleeves I've ever seen in my entire life. Which is not John's fault. It's just the way the light's
it's just
positioned.
sometimes the light, and if you have, some of those shiny cards,
Maybe next week I'll be handing out non-glare sleeves.
Packs of non-glare sleeves to the winner, or to the
yeah.
glariest,
There you go.
to the most glary participant on the stream.
Are you funding this next week, Tom?
No, but if you want to fund your sleeve adventures, you can use code Pokemon Stream Week 1 at the Forge to get 10% off your order of sleeves.
They just got restocked on the new Sentinel ones. What's the new name of those?
Do they have dual
They
specs
do.
here?
They're
They have
here.
dual specs
They're
here?
on the shelf out there.
I'm going to be, after this stream game, I'm going to be using code Pokemon Stream Week 1 to get 10% off the new dual spec sleeves. They are the best new sleeves on the market for your trading card game.
And if you're like Tom, or you're like me, and you disagree with Tom, they have an enormous stock of the no glare Dragon Shield ones that I think shuffle fantastically, and they're a great fitment. I get the what's the new name for Sentinel?
Dual spec.
Thank you. They're a little bit smaller and they're a little bit easier to handle. Just like 1 or 2 millimeters makes a big difference.
Yeah. Well, and they just stay. We should probably be talking about game, but they stay good forever. Like when I use Dragon Shields, I have to re-sleeved after day 1 of a regional. I use the same dual spec sleeves for 2 regionals, and I never changed one.
All right, good to see a flower selecting after, I believe, 2 battle VIP passes for John. Pretty awesome start when you're playing Radzard.
Yeah, very good. Get those comfies out, start switching them around, use that flower selecting to send things to your lost zone. And he had enough battle VIP passes that he could send another one, 3rd one to the lost zone.
Oh, look
and
at
a
that.
4th one for a
the,
Colress.
These are the easiest flower
Yeah,
selecting
that's
decisions
what
I've
you
ever
want to
seen.
see as a lost zone player. Has that switch cart to switch into another comfy. Use flower selecting. I have to assume that's another Cramorant or Sableye on his bench. But Nest Ball or Switch was the choice there, choosing to loss on the Nest Ball. Keep the Switch in hand, and then I believe he can still play Oh, that was turn 1, so he can't play the Colress. Very good
Yeah,
turn
yeah,
1 for a
very good
Sablezard
turn
deck, getting 3 into the Lost Zone. Always very good.
Largely, I try to explain how some of these cards work. On the right over there, you see John playing a variant of the Lost Zone deck. Lost Zone uses cards that go into the Lost Zone, a place where they can never come out if there's no mechanism to get those Lost Zone cards back. It begins to power up various things for the Lost Zone player. That starts at 4 cards in the Lost Zone. Cramorant's attack, spit innocently for 110 damage, requires no energy. Then at 7, you can bring Mirage Gate online, which is attach 2 energy from your deck to your Pokemon in any way you like. And then at 10, the really big attackers come online. Sableye, place 12 damage counters on your Pokemon however you'd like, which is really the way that this deck fixes the math. And then 2, as the Arceus player starts taking prizes, the Radiant Charizard on John's side will start costing less and less to attack with because of its ability. For each prize your opponent has taken, you take one less colorless is required. So I think we actually got John's daughter who's talking to him on stream. Might make a judge call there because your daughter's there, which is a joke. Let the record state that's a joke. Seeing the Arceus get developed with the energy attachment, the Arceus deck on Luis, the main goal of turn 1 is get the Arceus down, get the energy attachment, because it does need 3 energy to do the charging that he wants to do on those Regigigas.
Unfortunate start for Luis. He would love to get more basic Pokemon down into play. Unfortunately, he also did not get an energy attachment from hand, so he was forced to Roar of the Sword to get that turn 1 energy attachment onto that Arceus V, and that Bidoof is just sitting there with 60 HP, very vulnerable now to a Cramorant.
I see a Colress with 2 switching options, and then how much energy does he play? Because this is a tough decision. Because if you get Wood of 1, he plays.
Yeah, he plays 3 of each, so 3 Psychic, 3 Fire. So you can get rid of 1, but as long as you've checked your prizes and made sure that you haven't prized too many.
At the bottom of the screen there for John, that kind of lineup of cards that's getting built up is his Lost Zone. Looks like we're currently at 6. So 1 more if you can figure out a way. Does have a switch, can get another Comfey into the active. You will see 7 in the Lost Zone, which brings Mirage Gate online. And there's the Mirage Gate and the Cram. Probably see the Cram going to Lost Zone. Cram really good for putting 110 damage on something. I think ideally you'd want to see it going on the Arceus or the Zacian.
I think
but taking a prize isn't bad either.
Yeah, it's never bad to take out the draw engine of the deck either. You can deal with the Arceus later in the game with that Radiant Charizard. So getting rid of the draw engine is pretty good, and then you can start setting up the 30 damage you need to on the Arceus to KO the Arceus V-Star with the Radiant Charizard later. But you also know that Path to the Peaks are going to come down, so you got to make sure that you're holding onto your Path Bumps, otherwise your Radiant Charizard's ability is not going to be online, which means that you'd still need all 5 energy to attack.
All right, good to see a Starbirth Arceus V-Star come down, and then a Judge going to reset everyone's hands. Pretty tough sometimes for these Lost Zone decks to recover from a good Judge, because if you draw all your energy, the Mirage Gates are useless. You can only really get 1 or 2 Comfeys to try to build out of there, so a Judge probably a really great call here from Luis. Luis has been playing for how many years?
Luis has been playing for a long time. He's a very good local player. Traveled not with him to a few regionals, but we've gone to a few regionals together, and always a great guy to get together with for dinner, Friday night, Saturday night, before, after a regional, day 1. Just a great guy, great local player, and a really positive person in our local community.
Are you sure you're talking about Luis? Because my last conversation with John was exactly the same. Extremely kind. It's interesting, the TCG players that you run into, I say we're all a bit nerdy, we're all a bit strange, so we're all very kind because we like the same thing. John had a great conversation with him about his daughter playing Gardevoir at the last cup that we were both at the same time. Pretty common scene. I run into him a couple of cups. So.
That's awesome.
All right, see the Starbirth opting to go for. Tom, if you were playing Arceus right now, what do you go for? Get the Regigigas?
You got to find the DTE, and you probably need to find another V Pokemon to start attaching energy to with that Trinity Nova. You hope your Judge sticks on the other side of the board here, and it buys you a couple turns. I think with that Bidoof gone, he probably is going to have to give up on the Barrels until he naturally draws into a way to find the Bidoofs. So probably another Arceus V or the Regigigas V to power up with that Trinity Nova attack.
So Starbirth also, you do not have to reveal them to your opponent. So we were hoping to see him. If we can get a peek here. Oh, there's the DTE like you predicted. There's Path at the Peak. Path of the Peak will.
Full face guard coming down onto the Arceus V-Star as well. I believe it's as if this Pokemon does not have an ability, it takes 20 less damage from attacks. And with the Path of the Peak in play, Arceus does not have an ability.
Oh my goodness, look at that combo. Whambo Cambo. I love it. All right, going to see the energy from the deck versus from Trinity Nova. Going to build some energy up. That's one of the powerful energy accelerations and attackers that is V-Star. Arceus V-Star. Arceus or Arceus?
I think technically it's Arceus.
Arceus, all right.
Because British people thought it was really funny that it was Arceus.
Okay. I was today years old when I put that together. Path of the Peak also disabling the Radiant Charizard's ability. It would take an enormous amount of energy and a lot of Mirage Gates right now. Did Luis... There we go. I was going to say he didn't take his prize card.
Sometimes that's one of the hard things with an Arceus deck is you have to attach the energy from Trinity Nova before you take your prize card, and then you shuffle up your deck and you do all these things. Then your opponent starts their turn and you forget to take your prize card. Sometimes.
Oh, all right, fair enough.
It is one of those things that you just have to remember doing. I'm sure most people would say I wouldn't forget to take my prize card, but you would.
You would. You wouldn't. I would. Arceus is actually an extremely powerful deck. Didn't it win the World Championships 2 years ago? With Flying Pikachu?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. The energy acceleration is absolutely fantastic. It's going to be surviving rotation as well. I think Arctina is going to be a powerful deck plus rotation.
Yeah. Arc Vulpix got second in Japan.
That is true. We do have a couple people that are playing that tonight, I believe. Throwing a Vulpix in there.
Good against the Charizard decks, for sure.
All right. John, he does have both a Fire Energy in hand. If he can keep on those for a little bit as Luis takes prizes, he'll be able to power up that Radiant Charizard whenever he can find that. Does have the Radiant Charizard in hand as well. Really thinking about his choices right now. Does have the Beach Court to bump the stadium.
Putting down Sableye, it looks like he has 10 in the Lost Zone, or at least he's very close to it. Radiant Charizard coming down as well. Can use the Mirage Gates.
All right, we're going to see this option brought up by the Escape Rope. Escape Rope, you switch a Pokemon, your opponent switches a Pokemon, but you both get to choose. Different than the Prime Catcher where you get to choose both.
The Prime Catcher A-Spec coming out in the next set. Very strong card, unlocking a lot of opportunities for different decks like Chien-Pao, Goldengo, those sorts of things. I think we're all very excited for the next format to come here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, we've been talking about it a lot. It's kind of like looming large for TCG players because you're always looking for what the next thing is. And Tom, you're headed to England.
I am.
And I'm headed to Orlando.
Yeah.
So we got to pay attention to this stuff.
It's going to be a fun time.
All right, Mirage Gate going to put a Fire Energy on the Radiant Charizard, and then you can see Sableye get powered up for that Lost Mine. Like I was mentioning earlier, 10 in the Lost Zone required to use that Lost Mine attack. And 1 Psychic Energy, you can place 12 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon, however you like. So you can bring that Arceus down to 160 health remaining. I think that Zacian has, 220, so you can set that at 100 in range of Spit Innocently. All right, opting to put 120 on the Arceus V-Star. See how Luis responds here. If he can find an energy, he could do 120 damage to that Sableye.
Luis playing Palpad here first. Didn't quite get a great look at his hand, but hopefully he has a draw supporter or an energy to get some things going.
While we're waiting for them to shuffle, I'd like to thank everybody who's watching with us tonight. We do really appreciate you sticking around watching this local Pokemon TCG scene. Tom and I are trying to put in the effort to build a little bit something special here.
Absolutely.
So you can really, if you really want to help us and support the stream, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate that. Or for those of you who are watching video on demand, we really appreciate you just clicking through and taking a peek at what's going on. For the next week here, welcome to use the Pokemon Stream Week 1 code as well. Stop by the Forge, support the Forge, use that code. It supports the store we love. It supports Tom and I doing this. It supports the local TCG scene as we try to grow this cool card game that we all like so much into something even cooler.
Yeah. We see Jet Energy coming down for Luis there, so he's able to attack, and a Research drawing him 7 cards. Yeah, it is very cool to be able to try to grow this local stream. I think one of the things maybe missing in the Pokemon community is some high quality weekly streams of local events like challenges and cups. and we hope we can bring that here too. It's always fun to watch the regionals and the ICs, but sometimes it's fun to take a peek at a local scene and see what they're cooking up as well.
That's when you see Bennett EX.
That's when you see Bennett EX.
All right, opting to get another Arceus down. Path of the Peak is still in play, so that full face guard still protected that V-Star. Right now, though, I think we're going to see the Zacian. I don't know the name of the attack, but I believe it's 60 damage plus 30 for each psychic energy attached. So you're going to see enough to take out that Sableye. You see retreat.
Retreating the Arceus. Maybe he's thinking he needs to be able to power up that Arceus V. So using the Trinity Nova attack, he can get another attacker powered up. But if that was the case, maybe I would have liked to see Luis use that jet energy onto the Arceus V-Star instead to bring it to the active spot instead of retreating that energy off of the Zacian.
That is a good point. He does play one Super Rod, so he can get back one of those psychic energies, but because the jet energy is a special energy, Super Rod cannot put it back into the deck. I think the only card in the format right now that can do that is Roxanne's Backup, which is just a cool card, but no one ever plays it, except for me in my Lugia Mill deck.
Now, one thing to mention, we've been talking about the Path to the Peak in Luis's deck, and the Radiant Charizard as that looming threat on John's side of the field. We do see that Path to the Peak in play, and I know that we've seen at least one Lost Vacuum go to the Lost Zone. John only plays 2 Lost Vacuum, 2 Beach Court, I believe, as his stadium bumps. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as the game progresses. If this Path to the Peak is able to be locked in play,
Looks like he does have a Beach Court in hand.
yeah. So if Luis is able to at some point later in the game lock that Path to the Peak in play, and that Charizard can't attack without having 5 energy on it, that is a very strong win condition for Luis in this matchup.
We're going to see Flower selecting for 2. At this point, Comfey is used just to see more cards. Going to put the Ditto. That's a cool choice.
Yeah.
Useful for grabbing a Comfey if you start with it.
Ditto very cool in the Lost Zone decks. Just kind of a 5th Comfy on your first turn.
Considering the counter catcher, he is down on prizes, so it would be available for that counter catcher to bring out the Zacian and maybe stall or place some more damage on it. And bump the Path to the Peak with the Beach Court. Comfey now has no retreat cost because of that Beach Court.
But I'm not sure John has an attacker, but he does have the Raihan, and so now he does have an attacker. That Charizard attacking for only 3 energy now that Luis has taken 2 prize cards. And he'll be able to come to the active position, swing for 250 damage, minus 20 because of that full face guard, swinging for 230, with I believe already 120 damage on that Arceus V-Star from the previous Sableye. That should be a knockout for John.
All right. Not bad getting back to prizes being even if John decides to take that route. Right now he's using Raihan, which is an attachment energy from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon, and then you can go find any card you'd like. That Raihan, though, the criteria or the restriction, you have to have a Pokemon that's knocked out the previous turn. Usually with this deck, you're giving up 1 prize per turn, so not that big of a deal to find the criteria for that, to meet those criteria. What did he grab? Oh, did he grab a boss's orders? Retreating into the Radiant Charizard. Radiant Charizard doing 250 minus 20 for the full face card. Can't attack next turn, though. I can't see this thing surviving, though.
Yeah, it just depends on what's in Luis's hand. Can he find another V-Star? He'd love to judge John, obviously. The name of the game against his Lost Zone decks is continuing to disrupt their hand.
Gonna see a counter catcher. Interesting play. Opting to place more damage, it looks like, on this. Or actually knocking this
knocking it
out.
out. It makes sense. He's already got the damage set up on the other Arceus V-Star. If he can take 2 prizes on this V before it evolves into a V-Star, then he doesn't have to set the damage up on it again to take the KO with the Radiant Charizard.
It was really fast to 10 in the Lost Zone, so that Sableye was really useful placing the damage on the Arceus V-Star. Can see another one. Oh, Regigigas.
Regigigas V coming down, but I wonder if Luis is out of Psychic Energy. He only plays 6, so this Trinity Nova may not be finding any energy, but the Lost City! Get a Lost City! John's only big attacker in this matchup.
You excited, Tom?
I didn't know he played Lost City. I'm looking at the list now. That's crazy.
It
He
is.
plays
He plays
1 Lost
one off
City and
Lost
3
City.
Paths to the Peak. And that, I mean, this has to seal up the matchup. Like, John.
It is a
If-
single prize deck
Yeah.
that struggles against high HP Pokemon if it can't recycle that Radiant Charizard twice or three times.
As long as Luis can get another attacker powered up, because this Arceus will eventually go down to a Sableye, a Cramorant. Two of those in combination will take it out. But then I don't see any way for John to respond to Regigigas or Zacian really quickly enough.
With the Pokemon TCG, though, they're not out until they're out.
Yeah,
We were
that's
talking
true.
about the Bennett EX looked like it had locked up, and then Charizard out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It definitely is still possible for him to win. He does. You can't play 2 Radiant Charizards, however. Good to see an Iono down to 4 on John's side. It should be Luis playing that, knocking John down to 4. Oh. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
I thought I messed it up again. Sorry.
Both of them go 4 off of this Iono. And you got to imagine Luis is looking for that Bidoof. Yes, finds
There
the
it
Bidoof.
is.
Needs to get that draw engine online. And I don't think he's played it yet, but he does play 1 Super Rod. So those Psychic Energies in the discard, he could Super Rod back.
I think
to
he
use the
actually
Trinity
just
Nova.
did
Did he?
that.
Okay.
Yep. There's.
So we at least see 3 coming down onto that Regigigas V. Now, one thing to note about the Regigigas V Star, obviously it does have 300 HP, so it is a very tanky Pokemon. But I believe that its attack does 230 damage, and it cannot attack again on the next turn. So he would have to find switching outs. He does play 1 switch, 1 escape rope. But I'm trying to take a look. I wonder if the Regigigas V has a better attack for this matchup.
Good to see the Radiant Charizard get added to John's Lost Zone. Just the Pokemon, because of that Lost City, goes into Lost Zone. The energy does not. So John will be able to recycle that energy if he chooses to find a Super Rod, or if he finds a Super Rod and can put that back into his deck. But right now, if he can use that Regigigas V-Star, if it does stall out... Tom's currently looking up what Regigigas V...
It does have a second attack, Angry Whack, for 3 colorless energy, 100 plus 10 more damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon, and then this Pokemon is now confused. And Regigigas V is a very tanky V Pokemon as well, has 240 HP. So it wouldn't be a bad attack to use, and then you're confused, you evolve into the V-Star, and evolving gets rid of the confusion, and then you take another prize. So Luis has a lot of options, and John kind of on the back foot now with that with that Charizard in the Lost Zone.
So it is a all single price deck, so you do have plenty of time to maybe feed the machine 1 Pokemon while you get stuff set up. But because you can only have 1 of those Radiant Charizards, once it's in the Lost Zone, it's tough to recover.
Yeah, the tough thing is in the next 3 turns, John has to do a minimum of 380 damage to win, and he can only do 360 over the course of 3 turns with Sableye.
There is damage on the Arceus, so you're saying he has to take a
So
single
the-
prizer
the-
and a double prizer and a double prizer.
So he has 4 prizes left. The Arceus has 160 HP left, and the Zacian has 220 HP. Those are the 2 lowest HPs you can go after for 4 prizes. It's 380. 380 damage that John has to do. We can only do 360 over the course of 3 turns with 3 Sableyes. That's the
Alrighty.
max amount of damage he can do now with that Charizard is in the Lost Zone.
If Luis were to put another single prizer down, another Bidoof with 60 HP, which I don't think he already he's got rid of one.
wait. We're wrong. John took the first prize with Cramorant on a Bidoof. So he has 3 prize cards remaining. He just
does.
needs to knock out a V and that Bidoof. So if he can Sableye the Bidoof and the Arceus, and then put 6 on each, he could Sableye again to knock out the Arceus.
All right, so John is in it to win it. We're going to see a Roxanne here, requiring your opponent to have 3 cards left. John's going to be seeing 6 cards right now, though, and that leaves me wondering how many left he's going to have in his deck. His Lost Zone is at least 14 or 15 cards right now, so there's going to be a pretty sizable amount of cards he'll be drawing. I don't think risking decking himself out on the next turn, but this would be really cool if he stabilized twice. Find the Super Rod, find the energy. That would be fantastic. And that's not that we don't like you, Luis. It's just a very cool way to win against this deck that we thought was struggling due to the Radiant Charizard.
Roxanne is going to be tough for Luis here with no Barrel on board, and if John is able to knock out that Bidoof with Sableye as well, he's going to have to find a way to get that Zacian V out of the active, and he might not have it off those 2 cards from Roxanne.
All right, gonna see a Clara. You can grab that Sableye back with that. 2 Claras in hand. That might be what he needs.
Yeah.
Escape rope as well.
He's already played a supporter for turn, and so it might just be a Cramorant swinging to the Zacian V, but that is enough if Luis doesn't have a way to get that Zacian out of the active spot.
So the Box of Disaster would not come into effect if he takes it out with Sableye.
That, and it's not affected. It only, the Box of Disaster only works if the Pokemon didn't have any damage on it when
Got
it
it.
was KO'd.
So it has to be 1-hit KO. Box of Disaster is 8 damage.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool if we saw this game to go to a tiebreaker? All right, going to attach retreat into the Confag, gonna send up a Cramorant, place or do 110 damage. To
We'll
the
see what
Zacian.
Luis is able to put together here. 110 damage on that Zacian V, which has 220 HP. He has the energy
There's the retreat.
to retreat it into. I think he's got to go into the Arceus because he doesn't have the V-Star for the Regigigas, and it wouldn't be good to swing with that anyway. Mew EX going to be able to draw him some extra cards as well.
So right now, if you're John, you're looking to place with Sableye next turn using the Clara 60 on the Bidoof, and then another 60 on the Zacian, and then the following turn, you think you got it.
Yeah, I think Luis really needs to find an Iono or a Judge on this turn to get those Claras out of John's hand. There's no way of knowing that they're there, but continually disrupting these Lost Indexes is always good.
Mm-hmm.
See a Mew EX's restart ability to draw 2, and we'll see what Luis has off of that.
Like Luis right now needs to. Oh, do you find a research? Ultra Ball. Excuse
Ultra
me.
Ball for the Bibarel. That's good. Get the Bibarel into play. More HP, so Sableye would have to devote all of the Lost Mind damage to knock out the Bibarel.
Was still within range for 2 turns, I believe, though. Some riveting shuffling. It is interesting to see the different types of shuffling
Yeah.
here on stream. I know that you're a riffle shuffler.
Riffler.
Some people are the upright, kind of smash them together. Other people are just the traditional mash shuffle.
Yeah.
Some people like me need the advantage, so we don't shuffle at all.
You do your special shuffle where you
It's-
leave the good cards on top.
It's yes.
Yeah.
It's just please have pity on me and let me do this. All right, gonna Bidoof for 5. Excuse me, Bibarel Industrial Synthesizer.
Finds the
finds the
Regigigas.
V-Star. Gotta see the retreat off of the Zacian. Probably going into the Arceus V-Star just to take a knockout on that Cram. Can't leave that in the active. That's just another 110 damage that you deal with.
Did Luis find a way to disrupt John's hand, though? I'm not sure. See Choice Belt come down onto the Bibarel, just thinning cards out of the deck
Never know when you need it.
and taking the KO on that Cramorant. Luis going down to 2 prize cards remaining. John promoting that Comfy. See a switch. Clara in hand. I believe you said he had a Clara in hand before.
I think he had 2.
I see 1 in the Lost Zone now. So he must only have 1 Clara left. But he could Clara for double Sableye, double Psychic Energy.
I think he lost vacuumed away with Clara to get rid of the Lost City, just in case. Because if you
Yeah,
put
you have
Sableye
to.
up,
You do have to get rid of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sableye goes up and goes down into the Lost Zone. It's not happening.
Fog Crystal, Fire Energy. You can get rid of the Fire Energy unless you need it to. Well, yeah, you just get rid of the Fire Energy. You don't have the Radiant Charizard anymore.
Even if you do use the Fog Crystal to find a Psychic to then discard it off the retreat, you can use your Clara to get it right back. And Clara is a Pokemon and energy, correct?
That's correct. The other thing to note in John's deck is that TM Crisis Punch, which means that the Cramorants can do 280 to end the game. So he just needs to Sableye KO the Bibarel here, and then he can Crisis Punch for game on the following turn.
Why? Oh my goodness. Crisis Punch, a recent addition in the Chaldean Fates. If your opponent has exactly 1 prize remaining, you can, for 3 colorless energy, hit your opponent's active for 280.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you attach it to a Cramorant and you have 4 in the Lost Zone, you're Crisis Punching for free,
Yeah.
which is just great. No one's expecting that.
No,
It's
not at all.
almost like you like to reference the Spanish Inquisition. Crisis Punch out of nowhere. So if you can take 1 prize this turn with Sableye, His opponent will likely take the Sableye the following turn, and then it is Crisis Punch if he can get that Cramorant back onto the bench. John having surprising options. This deck very versatile.
Yeah.
John obviously a very intelligent person, because this is not an easy puzzle to piece together.
Yeah, the Lawson decks are always a puzzle. Sablezard even more so, because you're never really doing big damage. You're just kind of like hitting things softly throughout the game and coming in to blow stuff up with Charizard, and now that TM Crisis Punch later in the game, and hoping you've set up the strategy throughout the course of 6, 7, 8, 9 turns to get you there. And it looks like John is closing in on that strategy. He may be able to pull out this game, but he just needs to get a Sableye down this turn, KO that that Barrel. Yeah, he should have a switch in hand. Looks like he does.
Yep.
I think he needs to bench that Cramorant on this turn as well, because Luis can't target it down. He has to knock out the Sableye, and we know that Crisis Punch is in the deck. So the best bet for Luis is to, I think, send up the Regigigas here. Or the Mew EX, the Mew EX has free retreat, but then he wants to attack with Regigigas on the following turn when he goes to 1, because TM Crisis Punch does not knock out Regigigas.
Yeah, 280 on the Crisis Punch. Regigigas having 300, which might be the savior of this game for Luis. But at the same time, he has the ability to, if he can get the Sableye back, take out the Zacian.
Yeah. We see TM Crisis Punch off of that flower selecting, so now John has it in hand. Had to get rid of Colress for it, but now that makes it even more important for Luis to disrupt John on the following turn. Sableye coming up. He could target down the Zacian, finish off the Zacian, take 2 prizes, but maybe it's good to get rid of the Barrel as well, as that is Luis's draw engine.
Is there enough left from placing damage counters to take out Zacian and then put 20 on the Regigigas V-Star?
No.
Okay. Oh.
There's 110 on the Zacian right now, but John is thinking about that. He's putting 3 onto the Regigigas.
He's going to go for the Crisis Punch. But he has to take a prize this turn.
He has to take a prize this turn. So did he put 1 on the Regigigas?
Is he going to go for a Sableye next? Okay, we'll see how this plays out. I think John's got a 5th dimension chess play that he's working on right now. He's clearly proven he knows his deck well so far.
Yeah, I think that's got to be a mistake. You have to take a knockout that turn, whether it's on the Zacian or the Barrel. You have to take the knockout that turn. There's no way for him to take 3 prize cards on the next turn, and you know that Luis is going to get a knockout here with this Regigigas V-Star, and potentially disrupt you as well. Sharon's Care up that. Arceus taking some of that damage off the board.
Less options.
Putting the Arceus back down. Double Turbo Energy probably go into it as well. Full Face Guard.
It does not have any abilities.
Does not have any abilities. And we will see that Regigigas V-Star use its Regigigas attack. I don't know what it's called. For 230 damage, and it cannot attack on the following turn.
We'll call it Reggie Smash.
Reggie Smash.
Reggie
there we
Smash.
Go.
We got the robot leader attacking.
Can you give us a Reggie noise? Do you know
That was the 8-bit version of it. Because it was totally in the 8-bit games.
Yeah.
It was not.
No, it was. Well, not 8-bit.
Regigigas is not a 151 Pokemon.
No, that's fair. But it was still in like the sprite games of Ruby and Sapphire.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm so old I only remember the 151.
That's not true.
And then there was Basigno. That was the 152 Pokemon.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, going to see a beach court and not quite sure. Is that it looks like a Super Rod.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. He may be in a tough position because he might need that. Is that a boss's orders?
It is looks like a Super Rod.
Okay.
If he throws on the beach court, he's got free retreat on his Comfey. He could come up with the Cram, but I think he's going to be 1 damage counter short to take out the Regigigas V-Star. Unless we're wrong. I hope we're wrong, because that'd be a great ending.
That would be a great ending. But he definitely has 3 prize cards remaining and cannot take 3 on this turn. And yeah,
In this game, viewers,
you just have to make a decision here. Honestly, it's a bad decision either way. If you need the Super Rod to get Pokemon back to attack with, you have to take it. If you need the Beach
it's a
Spark
counter
version-
catcher. I was wrong.
Counter catcher.
Counter
Oh,
catcher.
you need to keep the counter catcher. You could counter catcher
The barrel.
the barrel. Now, has Luis played any of his switching cards yet? Because he has 1 switch and 1 escape rope in deck.
Do you want to go grab his price cards real quick, or his discard pile?
That's okay. Yeah, he could counter catcher, but does he have a way to get a Sableye down and start spreading damage with Sableye while trapping that barrel active? I don't think John has the hand to be able to do that.
He's got 1 color.
And he's got to make a decision here. There it is.
I think we're going to see a stall bringing the barrel up. Barrel does have a 2 retreat cost. All right. If he can find a way, and he could crisis punch this, but that's just going to hand the win to Luis. Luis has plenty of cards in deck, so it's going to be tough to deck him out. I think that damage counter misplacement, if our totals are correct, was the
Yeah.
misplay that might have.
If he can retreat into Cramorant here and hit 110 on the barrel, then on the following turn he can Sableye KO barrel and Zacian.
All right, that is definitely a play. Let's see, 110 placing the barrel. Luis has the switch card.
Luis
There's
has the jet energy for game. Well played by both players. John playing to his outs. You have to play very carefully with that deck. As you play through the course of the game, like we said, you're kind of poking and prodding here and there with the Cramorants, the Sableye, setting up damage where you can. The lost zone of that Radiant Charizard was really impactful, I think, in that game. And ultimately, we saw that Arceus Regigigas V-Star deck piloted by Luis come out on top. You can't argue with Judge Path.
You can't argue with Jug Path. I think the tricky part too is we've seen. I personally have experienced this because when you're playing a deck that makes that many micro decisions, the Sablezard with the Charizard and the Lost One decks, you're a pro at it. But for people making those decisions, all it takes is one little misplacement of a damage counter, and you realize that the opening you had for victory is closed off, and you might not realize that for a couple of turns, which makes those decks so challenging to play, but also so versatile. Major kudos to John going into that matchup. It's not one of the best matchups, especially when Radiant Charizard goes into the Lost Zone, but just impressive all around.
Yeah.
And that's why these guys are playing competitively here at the Forge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Be right back with the winners interview, interviewing Luis about his Regigigas V-Star deck. Stick around. We will be right back.
Welcome back to League Night here at the Forge. We're here with our winners interview with Luis. Luis, congratulations on your round 4 win.
Thank you.
Tell us about it.
It's stressful. I knew that I knew he was playing Sablezard, and I just needed to find that lost city and play it as when I know I could take out the knockout on Charizard. So that was my game plan. I was really relieved when he counter-captured the Arceus V, because I think I would have needed to just find Arceus V-Star and a Psychic Energy off of Iono. So.
Yeah, that was really well played. I think it was. I didn't realize you played Lost City in the list, and when the Radiant Charizard came down and you slapped down the Lost City, we were going crazy because we were like, "There's." I mean, that swings the matchup so heavily in your favor. But then there were some weird things there where he was able to counter catch the barrel at the end of the game, sort of set it up where a Sableye could finish the game on that following turn if you didn't find the switching card, but you just had the Jet Energy ready
Yeah,
to go.
I had Jet Energy, and I think I still had my Switch and Escape Rope in deck. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well played by you. I think that's, like you said, it's a tough matchup. You have to find the right cards at the right time, and unfortunately, it took you a while to develop the barrel, but you got there, and it drew you just enough cards to find the win. So congratulations, and good luck going into round 5.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Go ahead.
Okay. Welcome back, Pokemon fans. Kind of catching us off guard there a little bit. We got the final match of the evening. I got SJ, who's piloting Espathra.
Spathra EX coming out of the Paldean Fates mini set we had here come out in January. Obviously legal for play now. Hasn't seen a lot of success until SJ decides to
Until
pilot
tonight.
it to a sweet 4-0 so far here at tonight's league challenge with some pretty cool prizing on the line. That statue, he is going to have to take down Shane, who's also at 4-0, playing Miraidon EX, playing that 4 peony build of Miraidon EX, going fast and hard into those iron hands.
Yes, the peony build, the goal is to take a Flittle out for 2 prizes and then take a Flittle out again for 2 more prizes. SJ's main goal, though, is Dazzling Gaze. Espathra EX is a stage 1 Pokemon. Its ability, as long as this Pokemon's in the active spot, attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon cost 1 colorless more. Let's see here. How many Path to the Peaks are we playing? We are playing no Path to the
No
Peaks in
path.
Shane's Miraidon build. So it's going to be, can I get Iron Hands out there as fast as possible before it costs too much? SJ opting to go first, getting a bench full of some
Natus and some Flittles.
does play a Mimikyu just to stall a little bit.
So could stall against an Iron Hands. I don't think he opened the Mimikyu, but there's some glare, so I'm not totally sure what that card is. But Shane going for Bravery Charm VIP Pass off of an Arven. And we're going to see VIP Pass bring out Miraidon. So no peony for this turn, but maybe his hand is already full of electric generators. You never know.
You never know. Miraidon has the ability to put 4 energy into play immediately. Does have the free retreat in that Mew, and he's got the Squawk, so he's going to see a lot of
Squawk
cards.
Squawk and Seize on the first turn of the game. You can discard your hand and draw 6 cards.
So you tandem unit, then you Squawk and Seize. You get
Yeah.
what you want, and then
Get what
you
you
get what you
want.
can.
Yep. So get another Iron Hands, get a Mareep down. I think Mareep is probably the right choice there. He may be considering getting a V down in case he finds a 4 Sealstone, which he does play in the deck, and ultimately chooses to go for that Raikou V. And then we'll see what else Shane has to play out of that hand. He's obviously hoping that he has a few electric generators to start powering up that Iron Hands. And then we'll use that Squawk and Seize to see what else he can get.
Squawk and Seize, a great ability. Oh, double turbo. Nice. Got some of the energy already. Just needs an energy electric generator. Going to see a 4
Sealstone already.
This is a good setup
Wow,
we got going
great
here.
starting hand for Shane, honestly.
You know what I love about this matchup? SJ has been playing Miraidon for the last year.
Yeah.
So he knows exactly what he's in for.
We see Escape Rope coming down, bringing that Raikou into the active.
Iron Hands just got a lot bigger and bulkier. Does
See
Pathra...
the Squawk and Seize. I'm not sure how I feel about that Escape Rope. What was in the active spot, though? Was it Mimikyu?
It was a Mew EX.
It was Mew EX. Okay, so he was escape roping so he could get to a smaller basic Pokemon that he could Iron Hands as soon as he gets these energies from electric generators. But we'll see what he got off of the Squawk and Seize. Not playing anything down very fast, so maybe whiffed the generators. Does have the 4 Sealstone to look for them, as well as a Fleet-Footed to draw 1 deeper into the deck.
Does have to find a way to get that Raikou V out of the active, too. 4 Sealstone for a switch is not ideal.
Yeah, not
but
great.
You do what you got to do, though.
There's a lot of cards he can technically draw, though. He's got the Ultra Ball, thin out his hand. Mew EX could draw him up to more cards than Fleet-Footed. He's got the 4 Sealstone.
You just really got to hit a Jenny on 2,
Yeah.
and then find that switch card with that 4 Sealstone.
all you need. Don't
And
need
then-
a lot, but you
and
might
then
need.
Tom and I are here
You
doing
don't
it.
need a lot, but you kind of need a lot.
Need a lot. Got to see the Mareep go back into the deck with the 1 electric generator, or 1, lightning energy, just to make the odds a little bit better that you'd hit 1. That's kind of what you're playing on some of these decks, just making things more likely.
Yep.
Never guaranteed, but if you maximize your odds, your winning percentage does go up.
There's always an optimal way to play, and sometimes you whiff, sometimes you don't. But there's times where you're like, oh, I should Pal Pad supporters back into my deck before I draw an extra card, because if I'm searching for a supporter, Pal Padding back more supporters into my deck will up the chances of it. And then you shuffle those, you look into your deck and you go, oh, if I just drawn that 1 card, research was on the top. But you never know that, and there's always a correct way to play, and sometimes it doesn't get you there, but there's always a correct way to make it more likely.
You can also... Oh, that was his hand. I was like, is there 7 prize cards? 7 prize cards? You can also just put out a Mareep and then draw 6 energy.
That also happens. That also
Pokemon
happens.
TCG.
Yeah. Mew EX restart for 2. Did we find those Jennies, those sweet, sweet generators that we need?
I Are we gonna go for it with 4 Seal Stone, or did we find one? It would be unusual to dodge them the entire 20 cards we've seen so far. We see a
Fleet-footed to draw one more.
Oh, he's thinking about it. Gonna go into the deck with 4 Seal Stone. Do you get a Jenny and then just you have a switch in hand that we can't see?
If he has the switch in hand, you go for the Jenny. You got to hit it at this point. You kind of committed the whole turn to it happening. So you kind of got to go for it. You definitely just need to get an attack off this turn. Otherwise, you feel pretty sad. It's not good to feel sad.
I mean, if you... Yes, Tom, it's not good to feel sad, but sometimes we have emotions. The wheels are coming off here at the casting studio in the Mile High casting studio here at the Forge. So right now, there's the generator. Look at the top 5. Attach any electric energy you find there, up to 2 to your bench Pokemon. Did you find any? Oh, did he whiff it? He found 1. So there is the 160 damage attack that... Oh, he found 2!
Found 2!
Does he have the switch
Does
card?
he have the switch?
If he has the switch card, we are going to see Amp You very much from Iron Hands. He does have to get that Raikou out of the active. Raikou has a 1 retreat cost. 4 Seal Stone's been burned. He's used Mew EX. He's used Squawk. He's used Tandem Unit. All of the resources are spent. Does he have the switch card?
And it's a pass.
It is a pass. So, oh no. Pokemon League Headquarters increasing Iron Hands' retreat attack cost by 1. If he can get the Espathra into the active with an Iono.
Yep, Iono. He just needs to find an Espathra and an energy to start attacking. Does he find the Espathra? He has energy.
Now, not the end of the world that
He finds one Espathra.
Espathra doing massive damage to the Iron Hands because there's so much energy attachment.
Yeah.
But see the free retreat from the Mew. And the attack does no damage because there's no energy attached to the Raikou. Oh, excuse me. Attached
It's
to
for both Pokemon. Yeah.
So that'd be 30 damage going down.
How many people watching the stream are about to buy 4 Espathra EXs?
If SJ puts this deck on the map, that would be fantastic.
That Espathra EX, 260 HP, Psyball attack for 1 psychic energy, does 30 plus 30 more damage for each energy attached to both active Pokemon, so doing 60 to that Raikou on this turn. And yeah, Shane's got to find a way to respond. He does not have the bench space open for a Raichu, so no chance of a one-shot KO or a one-hit KO on that Espathra. We did see the Lost Vacuum getting rid of that Pokemon League headquarters, so he just needs 4 energy on a Miraidon to attack, or an additional energy on that Iron Hands to utilize the first attack of the Iron Hands, which is Arm Press for 160.
Okay.
140 with the double turbo energy attached. We see energy coming onto the Mew EX.
Dynamotor to the Mew. We're getting a Genome hack? Oh, he might be setting up a Raikou play. Just to get the energy out.
Yeah, the Raichu play. He could also... yeah, I don't know.
The Natu's going down on SJ's side of the board, the right side of the screen there, hoping to evolve into a Xatu, which is the same ability we saw in Shadow Rider Calyrex, which is attach an energy, a psychic energy from your Pokemon. Attach a psychic energy from your hand to your Pokemon, and if you do, draw 2. So it's kind of like Curlia, but better.
Yeah, very well. Yeah, it's like energy acceleration and draw all in one is great. You have to have the psychic energy in hand to draw cards, but whereas Curlia can just discard anything to draw 2, but energy acceleration in any form is amazing. And having that same ability from Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX, which was on a 3 prizer, now on a 1 prizer, is very crazy. And I wouldn't be surprised to see that Xatu see more competitive play as we go on in this Scarlet and Violet meta.
SJ considering his options. Just require... so that Espathra is a grass type, but it is a Terra, so it is using psychic energy to attack. So the Xatu can attach to it if it needs to, or just attach from hand. Just the 1 energy to do Psyball.
Sideball doing 90 damage now to this Raikou V, but Boss's Orders bringing up that Iron Hands
this
with
is gonna hurt.
4 energy attached, 2 energy on the Spathra. That's 6 energy in total. 30 plus 180, doing 210 damage to that Iron Hands. Iron Hands does have that Bravery Charm on it, so it does have 280 HP right now.
So, all right, Escape Rope gonna send up a Mew EX. Send a. What happens when genome hacking copies genome hacking?
Well,
Does the game
I
just go
argue
forever?
that the game should loop forever until they tie,
Until the game crashes.
but
Okay.
I think just nothing happens.
Okay, I think I
yeah.
believe the technical term is it fizzles.
Yeah, it fizzles. I wish it just went forever though. We're gonna see an electric generator hitting, I believe, double again. Yeah, 2 lightning energies coming down, 1 on the Raikou, 1 on the Miraidon. And I think we're gonna see a Raikou V KO on this Mew EX.
Because the bench is full, it's doing 220. It's 20 for each bench Pokemon, and then an additional 20 on top of that. An E-generator. Is he gonna hit 6 off these?
Can he do it?
Did we whiff that one?
He
We
hit
got
at
a-
least 1.
Jeez.
Yeah, doing great off these generators,
Shane,
but
good job.
yeah, 15 lightning energy in deck, and hitting really well off these generators this game. And it's
Can't-
really what he needs to do to overcome this matchup, because I think this is a pretty tough matchup otherwise. But Shane going to be taking 2 prizes here on the Mew EX, and no matter what SJ did there, he had to send up something that was giving up 2 prizes. Either he was sending up a basic Pokemon with like 60 HP and it was going to take 2 prizes from the Iron Hands, or you send up that Mew EX to potentially be knocked out by this Raikou. So not much SJ could do there, but Shane taking the first 2 prizes with this Lightning Rondo from the Raikou V.
All right, a lot of energy in play on Shane's side as well. So if he gets KO'd on this turn or the next turn, he can find that Raichu. That'll be a big 1-hit KO on the Espathra. Espathra taking the return KO on that Raikou, promoting the Mew EX, probably for the free retreat. The question is, can you find that Raichu and get it onto the
Yeah,
bench?
with the tandem unit from that Miraidon, he shouldn't
he
have
can.
too many issues, but he needs 4 energy on it to attack because of the Pokemon League headquarters and the Espathra.
I think it's an artisan.
Is it an artisan?
It's an artisan.
Okay, well that's good news.
So
for
it's still
Shane.
only just
Only
3
3,
energy.
yeah.
And
We're gonna see an Iron Hands go up here for an arm press potentially.
establishing the damage, so it'll be. Oh, you could genome hack into it too.
Yeah.
That card is just so funny. Anyway, gonna Dynamotor Flaffy to the Mew and then attach from hand. Gonna boss up.
Oh, and he has the Iron Hands for 2, and that Mew is set up to take massive damage on that Espathra next turn.
That is a smart play by Shane, playing around the Espathra.
You know he's hit it on the TCG Live ladder
You
many
kn-
times. He has to have. He's playing it too perfectly.
A tough matchup for Espathra just because you have a hard time taking KOs on a deck that normally doesn't put a ton of energy into play. You're increasing the amount of energy your opponent needs, which increases your damage. But still, SJ going down to 2 prizes. So right now, if that Mew can get promoted, helping the Artisan.
Beach Court Flaffy onto the Mew. Maybe attachment for turn. Oh, he's just
Just going to go for the Raikou, I believe.
well. He
How
needs
does he get the energy, though?
Yeah, he needs to get 3 energy on it.
I think right now you'd have to do genome hacking.
Are there 2 energies on the Espathra?
There are 2 energies on the Espathra.
Okay.
You've got
So if he just
6,
attaches for turn and
20.
Flaffies to the Mew, it should be enough, right? Because that would be
If he has the
8?
energy in the discard pile, he does because of the Iron Hands. So that would be 8 times, so 30 plus 3 times
270.
8, 270. That would do it by with 1 to
Yeah,
spare.
he just needs to attach for turn and Flaffy onto the Mew.
We are going for the Raikou play.
Oh, with the
Does
electric
he-
generator
he-
double!
oh my God!
A double E generator on
He
the
hit
Raichu.
7 out of 8 in the game. Shane showing how you play. SJ doing a play pickup.
Oh my gosh.
Shane showing that you just hit all of your energy streams back.
Yeah.
The fist bump over
Well
there.
played by both players. That was crazy. Shane hitting the most wild electric generators you could possibly hope for.
That's-
it's everything a Miraidon player wants to see.
Before the game, we were talking about like Miraidon has fallen off a little bit just because the meta has moved on, and we were jokingly referring to it before as mid Rhydon, even though it was doing really well. JW Creewall famously piloting that to like a top 4 and a win. Yeah. And then now it's like, ooh, it's not that good. And here we see why E-generators are good. You just do what they say, and then you win the game.
Yeah, you just have. I mean, just hit the energy. Why would you whiff?
Right. So that is actually the last game of the night. Do we have time for a winner's interview?
I think we do if we want to do it.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Shane will be, I believe, one of the challenge winners for tonight. Andrew's actually signaling yes. Appreciate that, Andrew. We will be right back with a winner's interview with Shane, who hit all of his E-generators. Maybe we can get him to crack his packs on air as well.
Maybe we
Stick
can
around.
ask him the secret of hitting all your generators.
Maybe
as
that's
well.
what makes Rhydon good.
Yeah,
All right, stick around, guys. We'll
absolutely.
be right back for the last interview.
All
Cheers.
right, see ya. Welcome back, Pokemon fans, to Pokemon Day here at the Forge. Just finished our 5-round league challenge tonight, and here we are with our winner, Shane. Congratulations on going 5-0 with Miraidon. Tell us about it.
A lot of luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I played a lot of tough opponents, and I got really, really, really lucky on a lot of games.
There's always skill involved, though, as well, but we did see you hit 7 out of 8 energy on your electric generators in that final game, against which sometimes can be kind of a tough matchup if you get a slow start. That is Spathra making your Pokemon cost a lot more energy to attack than normal.
Yeah.
And you just hit double generator on that last turn for the Raichu for the game.
Yeah.
It was crazy to watch.
Yeah, I haven't played that matchup very much, so the entire time I was second guessing
Well,
every single move I made.
You ended up playing it perfectly. What other matchups did you hit in the tournament tonight?
So I hit it was a Palkia Palafin.
Okay.
So that one was interesting.
Yeah.
And then
Pretty good for you, though.
Yeah, pretty good for me. Lost Box, and then 2 Roaring Moons.
Okay. And you overcame the Moon, which can be a tough matchup for
Yep,
Miraidon. Tell us about those. How do you overcome the Moon matchup?
Typically by going second. But in my case, they got to go second both times, but I was fortunate enough that they weren't able to get their first attack off and take the first 2 prizes. So from there, it's basically just making sure I get Zapdos out or Iron Handing the Morpeko if they go for that. Just try and keep Mareep in the active position and sacrifice it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congratulations on winning this massive league challenge tonight and the special prize of that cool statue sent to us from Pokemon. So thanks to Pokemon for that, and congratulations to Shane on winning the league challenge.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we will be right back with a sign off from me and John. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned with us all night tonight as we celebrate Pokemon Day, as well as a special league challenge here tonight at the Forge. It was a great time seeing all of the battles that we saw. Some great decks, Banette, Rhydon, Espathra, all these cool things that we were able to witness tonight. And John, I'm happy I got to see it with you.
Yeah, thank you for hanging out with me, Tom. Don't forget the stream code, Pokemon Stream Week 1. Please use that. It does help us. It helps out the store. Also, don't forget, we've got Star Wars pre-release this Friday here at the store at 6 o'clock. You can't get this unless you come to a pre-release. So if you're a Star Wars fan, great TCG there. And then again, sounds like Wizards just sent too much product. So if you want an awesome deal on Magic the Gathering, Murder of Carla Banner,
Yeah, great deals at the Forge this week. Maybe not for the Magic stuff, but for everything else, like John said.
these are beefy.
Yeah.
You get a lot of cards in there.
Use that discount code of Pokemon Stream Week 1 for 10% off everything except, I think, the Magic stuff.
It's way better than 10%.
Yeah, way better than 10% already, so don't worry about that. Come out, support the Forge. Come see us next Tuesday. Obviously, we do this every Tuesday. I believe next Tuesday will be another league challenge. It will be the first week of March, so we always do the first Tuesday of the month league challenge here at the Forge. So another 5 rounds of fun for us to cast.
Prizing, coming out, playing on the stream, get some more packs. Yeah, Tom, thanks for doing this with me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks,
Cool.
John.
We'll see you next week, guys. We'll
See you next week.
Stick around. Cheers.